All right, we're live. What's up, guys? It's Thursday night, Friday morning, one of my favorite streams. So we should say, we should have a giveaway, first of all. What should the giveaway be? Do we have one up here already? I don't see one. So we're going to say free Poke Slab and hot One Piece boosters. I don't know, hot One Piece. We're going to say, new trade slab. And Cubone break. Rip and ship. What is this music? Oh man, I'm getting hyped up. Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? All right, we're jumping over here. Let's close this. All right. Let's see. We're gonna close that up. We're gonna jump over here. Let's go ahead and ping people in the stream or in the Discord to let them know we're live. We're going live for Thursday night. Well, I've been doing this for so long. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Okay. We're wrapping up 2025 pretty soon. Let's grab this link. All right. Pause this. Okay. We'll go ahead and link this. There we go. We've got that in the live chat now. We'll just leave this live chat open too, in case I need to moderate it. And now let's see if we can find our own live. No, let's hit refresh then on this. We're getting Como internet soon. Today, Como was over. They did a bunch of work. They buried a fiber optic line in my yard. They were over all day, man. I thought it was going to be a fast thing. No, they dug up like a whole strip of my yard. It's pretty crazy. Now, why is this not? There it goes. What the heck? It's not working. Let me refresh again. Let's try that again. I'm getting an ad for Spectrum. That is funny. That is some funny timing, actually. Buy Spectrum. No thanks. All right. There we go. We got the live chat popped out. We got the website pinned. Miss Tammy has been working on the website. She said she was working hard on it. I'm going to hit refresh on it real fast. All right. Oh, I see. So she's got this saying out of stock in the image. I wonder if it's like she's got it turned off. You can't buy it. It looks like you can't buy it when it says sold out. Okay, cool. I got to learn how to swap that back on too when it restocks. Let's try hitting refresh. I'm going to see what the homepage looks like. All right, it looks pretty good. Let's see. So there's a drop-down menu. Pokemon, English, Japanese, Chinese, Korean. Well, this music was getting me all pumped up. We might have to listen to that a second time. All right, let me take a look at the website again. So I'm just experimenting on the website. I want to see what it's like. Shipping, custom payment, custom boosters. How about Pokemon, One Piece, Topps, Weiss Schwartz, Magic the Gathering, Topps Vintage, Topps Modern, Weiss Schwartz. Okay, so it's a drop-down menu. You know, if I was designing the website myself, and I probably should talk to Karis about this, I would probably just have like a button you click, and then you get a bunch of thumbnails that lets you scroll on a new page. And the thumbnails each have a different, you know, sort of like brand, like Pokemon, One Piece. Drop-down menus can work too, though. Let's see. So let's click on Pokemon English and see what it gives me. Sort by popularity. How about sort by price low to high? Ah, cool, man. Okay. Neato, I like it. Let me go home. Interesting, when you go home, it doesn't take you to the shopping page. So cardconomist.com is the main shopping page. Huh. All right, just playing around with our own website. We've been making a lot of sales through the website. All right, let me turn this down a little bit. I feel like the website is going to be a key part of getting access to distribution. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at our emails now. Lou Costa sent $10 for 5 Korean. Need my fix. What? Mr. Whoa, there was a couple orders over here by Michael Pettiford, so we got a couple pre-orders. And then we got a Zachary Stekskowski gets the next box of OP14. And then on top of that, Mr. Joshua Whipple gets like 4 boxes. And so that's like maybe 5 or something like that. And then, so 2 boxes will go to John Lucas. And then we are out of OP14. So by the way, OP14 coming off the menu. Don't try to buy it. OP14 shall say sold out. Sold out. We're going to have more of that. I already ordered more directly from my supplier. He did mention it can't ship right away because of Christmas. But that's okay. We're going to be all right on that. Wow, look at that One Piece menu. Sold out, sold out, sold out, sold out, sold out, sold out. Wow. So that is very interesting. And then let me come over here and make an edit to the products real fast. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. My bad, I'm working on a website at the moment, but I'm doing great. Hope you're doing great also. So expensive now, around $660 for a good MW. Oh, Fiber Mystery, you're about to have blazing fast internet. It's cheaper too. Yeah, it's going to be cheaper internet. Crazy enough. Okay, I'm going to do a quick edit to Japanese OP14. We're going to say out of stock. Oh, okay, cool. Update. Okay, Japanese OP14 is out of stock. Cool. So I just found out how to edit that on the website. It's pretty simple, actually. Let's get started, everybody. Is Mr. Zachary Stex here? Mr. I put in a pre-order as well. Nice. So what you can't see on this setup right here is if we push it this way, you got Boxer carrying on his will. OP13 English. It's pretty expensive, but English packs have always been expensive. They've never been that cheap. And this round, this time, is interesting because there's a wanted poster, and it's an error card that will only be in the first print wave. They'll most likely fix it. Okay, let's set it here. Let's set these over here. This box takes up a lot of room. Total Recall. Look at this, the new trade slot, very cute. And here's a pack of Awakening of the New Era. What were we selling these for? I can't remember. Some ridiculous price, right? Actually, I think I can look it up here with the calculator. Where'd my calculator go? It's always shutting my calculator off. I don't shut it off. Why do they close my calculator out? That's crazy. All right, calculator, bring that back up. Ooh, man. Is that right? So we could do a pack break on this if we wanted. Let me go ahead and put this in here like this. OP14 soon? I'm like, or he says like next week or what? I would argue it would take probably a little more than 1 week. So OP14 Japanese has been restocked. I only stocked 2 more cases of it. If you guys feel that we need more than 2 cases, let me know. I know One Piece is very popular right now, but I also know as people buy the same product over and over again, it slows down. So this is $54. Okay. That's straight out of a fresh box. We had an open box, and we were going to do a box break, but I changed my mind on it. Remember that? And but that was that's out of the existing open box. All right, so it's been a very busy week for us, and we'll see if tonight continues that pattern or not. I think it pretty much already has, because in the daytime stream, we were very busy in the daytime stream. Just really busy. Pull this box out of the way, and we'll pull this box forward. Now, Very first order of the night, Mr. Zach. See here? Did I see Zach? Benjamin Gaming. Hey, what's up, man? It's crazy when PSA overcharges you. It's the only time I will ever feel happy that I have to pay more. Yeah, I mean, people complain about being overcharged, but ultimately, I feel PSA gets away with it because for most people, it means that they're getting a grade that they wanted. So people's good feelings about the good grade overrides their disappointment that PSA is doing an upcharge. So I think PSA has found a way to sort of charge more money. They're not scared of the blowback. I've been telling everyone One Piece is the next big thing, and now it's bigger than everything already. Yes. Prismatic Vaporeon, baby, let's go. Okay, you ready? Yes, One Piece, number 1. All right, let's get this open. Mr. Zach, you ready? Here we are. Okay. We'll toss this over here. You know what I'm investing in next? Hello Kitty. It's number 1. You ready? You ready? Set that there. Okay, I'm ready to pull you a manga. So, there's no more boxes of this. Don't try to buy it, guys. We didn't order enough initially. I think I got 6 cases of it, thinking that that would be enough. And it wasn't. So, I'll have to keep that in mind for next time. All right. We still have EB3. I think there's 2 cases of EB3 left. I have a lot of PRB2, actually. So I ordered a lot of that back in the day when it came out. PRB2, decent chunk of that left. It is. We have plenty of the OP13 English, which I know is at a premium price, but it's probably one of the best hits we have here. And then I have OP5 and I have OP9, but I don't know whether to sell it or not, whether to hold it. Is whether to slow down and see where the One Piece market heads first. All right, Mr. Zach. There we go. You should probably order a lot of OP14 English. Why do you say that? What do people like about OP14? I was told that OP14 was the first time Mihawk gets a manga card, but I don't know much about him. I didn't think he was a super popular character. Ooh. What am I listening to? The last song was so cool. It was a Pokemon song. I don't know what this is. Give me more of the other song. Nintendo Casino music? What? What is this? Okay. This is Nintendo Casino music. The Boa alts will be a draw. Okay. Boa alternative arts are in OP14. She is on the cover, isn't she? We are. I actually kind of like the English sets a little bit better, knowing that, yes, it's more premium, so you have to pay a higher amount of capital to get your cards, although those also sell for more. But especially knowing that there's no import fee on them. The import fees, they work. They make me want to buy more English, because I know more of the money just goes toward the product and not toward a really high taxes that you have to pay. We are. Here's this. Here's this. Here's this guy. Ooh. All right. And Hat Girl. Here's a holo. Here's a holo. You almost think about finding somebody to smuggle it into the country or something. Here it is. Ooh. If someone could smuggle a really, really large, like a whole pallet of product, you'd save probably thousands and thousands of dollars in import fees. It's like now smuggling's a job. It is. It's crazy how that works, huh? Okay. Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Ace, Lost, Shanks, and a couple of other characters are popular. Oh, nice. Got my new Pokeball. Oh, Jinbei alt isn't terrible. Jinbei alt it is. There we go. And Blades guy. His arms are like blades. Ooh. I don't think I've seen that one yet. Okay. That was box number 1. So, Mr. John Lucas had taken a big stab at these, and he had kind of a sweep, I guess you could say. Like, I don't think he pulled any alts, or not alts. He didn't pull any leader cards. What is this music, man? This is Sonic. This isn't... Skip that. Turn this down a little bit. I thought this music would be more fun. Okay. Ugh. How's this Mario Casino music? Put this here. Ooh. Oh, very nice. Let me toss this down here. Thank you, Zach. So Zach's done. I'm jumping over here to Mr. Joshua Whipple. Okay, so Josh has 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll leave only 2 boxes left over for John. Let's get started. You ready? Joshua Whipple, 4 boxes. Now, if John is very lucky, you miss whatever the case hit is. You sweep, effectively, you sweep 4 boxes from him. That's if he's lucky. OP5 is sold out. Mister, what's your opinion on the Millennium Print Group signing the largest U.S. manufacturing lease of 2025 all in the name of printing more Pokemon cards? I think it's going to allow them to print as many Pokemon cards as they need, and it will reduce scalping and make the cards more available at launch, which is perfectly fine. I think it'll shake a lot of secondhand sellers out of the market, but it will make, you know, maybe like actual card shops and establishments much happier being able to access the product at the correct price and having plenty available to them and not having to charge their customers absurd amounts of money. So I think that it's perfectly fine. There's a lot of people saying Pokemon's going to 0. And it's kind of, even for me, it's like kind of annoying to hear the, I don't know, the clickbait, negativity, fear. It's almost like gosh, I don't know what to say. It almost feels like a scam when you hear that kind of stuff. Because one second people will be saying, this is your last chance to buy this from me. Quick, buy it now. And then they'll say, Pokemon's going to 0 the next day, you know what I mean? And it's all just to get clicks, and it's just really annoying to hear. But yeah, I mean, if Pokemon's able to print more product, that I was recalling a story in the daytime stream about a long time ago, an experience I had selling Skylanders, where they released the second Skylander game, and I was an eBay scalper for that toy. And I learned back then how important it is to have lots of product at launch, because when there's plenty of product on the store shelves, the buying frenzy goes away. When there's plenty of product on the shelves, you can't middleman it anymore. It's not possible. The retail shops have it. They have more than enough for everybody. Then everyone just buys as much as they intended to buy, and they pay less money for it. It's good for the actual consumer. As a collectible, I don't really know about that. I don't know how affected as a collectible. It could be the case that there's way more of them, and it's so cheap to acquire them now that they're not spectacularly expensive in the secondhand market just 1 year later. That's not necessarily terrible either. Like, I would say 2025, Pokemon has been seen as like just inaccessibly expensive, with booster packs coming out at $10 or $11 per booster pack. Here we go. You got Nami. Yeah, you just got these booster packs that are just unbelievably expensive, and it makes no sense how expensive it is. Very annoying. Damn, dude, look at that underboob in that image. Holy, man. Pokemon's been so expensive that you've gotten used to it. You know, the booster packs are meant to be like $4 or $5. You know? They're supposed to be $4 or $5. How are we paying $11 a pack at launch for a new set? It's too much. It's terrible. It's a terrible experience. And then you spend like $400 and you get clocked by the pull rates. So, no, it's really bad. Just like that, I'm out of water. Damn, dude. I drink those waters so fast once the stream starts. All right, Mr. Whipple. Do you think they will print additional product? Oh, yeah. Yeah, they will definitely increase the printing amount. That's the only reason to expand that way. So the reason to expand your printing capacity is to print a higher volume. This will allow them to print as much as they need to print at launch. and satisfy the needs of the customers instead of the secondhand market turning their product into a sort of monopoly. That's what's currently going on, is the product gets turned into a monopoly. It's not like a monopoly that one person owns, but more like everyone scalping at the same time creates FOMO. And so the scalping and the FOMO empty the Walmart shelves. You got all these guys who are trying to, you know, run off to Walmart and buy extra products so they can sell the product live or sell the product on eBay or sell the product at a, you know, at a convention or whatever. Maybe they're a 40-year-old collector with a lot of money, whatever it is. But there's never enough, and that's what creates the bad environment. When there's enough product on the shelf that you can always go to Walmart and always fill your cart up, and there's still some left for the next guy, and you're just paying Walmart prices, if they ever reach that point, it'll change the hobby. It'll make everything, in my opinion, much better. Much better. Because there won't be so much frustration over the latest set. The latest set will be something you open for fun, not because you're afraid you're never going to see it again. You know? And the price of the PSA slabs for that set will be lower. Now, this does mean that the stuff that got printed during the FOMO time period will likely or potentially be more rare. Like at this point, I would predict that Sword and Shield era stuff is completely done being printed. The numbers are in on those, and those are a good product to have. But in the future, ooh, there you go. So it will be Joshua Whipple taking home this character whose name I can't remember. You guys always tell me, and then I forget about it. That is not a manga. Mr.'s collection is crazy, not gonna lie. Mr. would be the richest scalper if he was a scalper. Do you wish you had a collection like S.M. Pratt? He started way before I did. S.M. Pratt did. And I don't truly know what his collection looks like. I've never seen him show off his true collection, so I don't know how well he does. I've got a pretty good collection, though. And so he's had cards like the Trophy Pikachu that I don't care for. What's it called? The Illustrator. And he's had cards like the, you know, like these, I can't remember their names, like the Magikarp Club and stuff like that. He's got some really rare ones that he collected very early before anyone was thinking or talking about the hobby. So in terms of value, he's probably ahead of me. But I have a pretty cool collection, and I don't know how I rank versus S.M. Pratt. I'd be very curious to know. Some of it's very theoretical because some of his cards could sell for a lot of money. I also don't know how much he still owns. So I think you would have to look at our net worth. So I've got a net worth and he's got a net worth. And those numbers might look very different because I've been grinding pretty hard for 7 years now. So has Karis. And so our combined net worth might challenge whatever he has. The guy to look at, in my opinion, is even S.M. Pratt. As well as he's doing, I think the guy to look at is TCA Gaming. That guy's nuts, dude. TCA Gaming, he's balls to the walls deep in Pokemon. We are. Yeah, TCA Gaming has some impressive pieces. He's got all the top Charizards. I don't have them. He's got like first edition base set. He's got a card I really wish I had. He has the no rarity Charizard 10. Ugh. Makes me sick just thinking about it. No rarity Charizard 10. He could probably sell that card for like $1 million. I don't know if it would sell for $1 million, but he could sell it for a lot. So yeah, he wins in my opinion. I think of all the things I've seen from S.M. Pratt and all the things I've seen from TCA Gaming, I think TCA Gaming wins. But then there's also the other guy. There's he might be wealthier than both of those guys. There's Alpha Investments. He has some Pokemon anyways. I guess he's mainly a Magic guy. But that guy, he invests in collectibles, and you see the piles and piles of cases he has lining the walls of his whatever home he's living in or warehouse. And that guy potentially is the wealthiest. We don't know. There's some really big players out there. My collection's not bad, though. I did a real gamble on mostly buying graded slabs. Ooh. What happens now that PSA owns BGS? Nothing. Doesn't really change anything. All right, 2 more boxes for Joshua Whipple. Someone trying to sell an empty box of One Piece for $500. Let's see. I think it's all hot air from the Pokemon Company. It'll be a facility that'll print boxes, pamphlets, etc. I don't know. We can only speculate what it might feel like by the time it's in operation. I heard people saying it probably won't be in operation for at least 2 years. Yeah, you have to buy the machines, get them installed. You have to get everything legal. You have to get all the paperwork done. You got to hire the people to actually operate the machines. You got to move talent around. You got to train people up. And then finally you're working. Who knows how long that takes? It's a big investment. But if they had done it during 2024, they could have made so much money in 2025. So they're most certainly looking at it that way. Usually 2 SP a case. I don't know if another was a hit. Why are you selling prismatic for so much? Hey, what's up, Mr. Benjamin? I don't know what you consider so much, but that prismatic price was probably just a calculation of my latest price to acquire prismatic. So that's all it is. Here it is. Very nice. Very good. I think Mr. Lucas hit one. I don't know. I don't think he did. And usually there's only one case hit. I hate this song that's playing. Casino Night? This is actually called Casino Night. How about 2 hours of Kirby music? How about cheerful Nintendo music? How about Nintendo music to start your day? Nope. Wow, this all sounds terrible, man. Zelda Christmas music. Ooh. Man, I don't know. How about Synthwave Christmas? Man, we need some music, man. We're having a music problem. Turn this down. You guys really like One Piece. Yeah. All right, here goes. Mr. Joshua Whipple. We continue on. Tag or PSA? I like tag grading a lot because they have a very clear case. I think they have the most glass-like case, and I have been saying nice things about them for a while, and I think they've been nice to me so far. Everything's been all right. PSA will continue to be the #1 grading company. They got a lot going for them. Nowadays, when you grade with PSA, they might even offer to instantly buy your slabs, which is pretty useful. It's pretty convenient, especially if you got certain slabs you don't like to sell them. In fact, it kind of changes what you consider grading now, because if you know you don't like it, you can get back out of it. Here we are. For example, I was grading up some poker cards, and I graded some ones I normally would have left behind, like maybe like Wobbuffet or Spinnerack or Blossom, because I know no one here is going to buy it. But now those cards are sitting in the PSA vault listed on eBay, and the Blossom just sold. So the sort of integration between PSA and eBay makes PSA more convenient in a certain way than tag grading. But tag grading also doesn't have the same scope that PSA does. They're a much smaller company. So, you know, they're experimental. If you wanted a closer competitor to PSA, it's probably CGC. CGC, I always said this. I said CGC is a big deal because CGC is NGC, the biggest coin grading company in the world. So the parent company for CGC is a pretty established, wealthy company already, you know. All right, I see we got 51 viewers and 19 likes. Take a second here, guys, and smash that like button for me. All right, so one more box. You got Mihawk out of there. PSA has been paying top dollar for low pop niche cards that really sell. It's been nice. Yeah, I had this crazy thing happen where I was grading the Halloween cards, and the Umbreon, which is a non-holo common, it comes back a 10, and PSA bought it from me for a pretty good price. They paid like $100 for it, and I was like, that's not right. So I believe PSA basically made a mistake and overpaid for that card, because that's just a common card. It's not worth that much. And it sold so fast, I was like, oh, this is very easy. So it makes you look a little bit at PSA as a company that maybe is still learning how to do that, but they overpaid for it. There's no doubt. It's not that rare of a card. The Gengar is much more rare and harder to grade from that same set. But so I saw the potential there, and I said, oh, man, we got to tinker around with this PSA setup more. Just see if you run into scenarios like that more often. Here we are. So PSA's buyback is very interesting. Of course, you have to realize that only exists because PSA is making profit on those buybacks. So PSA is taking those cards. They must be selling them for 125, or, you know, if they buy it from you for 100, they sell it for 125. I don't know. I don't know exactly how they're liquidating it. Is it the GameStop system? Is that what it is? Who is acquiring all these slabs? It's GameStop, right? It's got to be GameStop. I don't know who's acquiring them. All right. Very nice. I see the future, mister. Going to have a lot of one-piece slabs. I have sent out a couple cards to be graded, a couple one-piece cards, but it's not as much as you might think. Here we go. You ready? Not as many as you might think. Last box for Joshua Whipple. This is a total of 4 boxes. Might be smart to restock on some cheaper one-piece sets before they go up. Here we are. Here's, oh yeah, an SP. I wish Mr. bought a bunch in the past. I would have bought so many. Well, of the One Piece, I mean, I'm doing okay. I've got a Japanese box of OP1. I've got one sealed case of OP5 English, and then one unsealed case where the manga hasn't been pulled. And then we've got an unsealed case, fresh case of OP9. So, and then I don't know if I have a sealed case of OP9, but I feel like I do. I would have to check. But yeah, I think I did okay. I think my biggest mistake was not keeping a sealed case of the OP1 with the blue bottom, the first print wave. That would have been a very smart move. I just didn't know it. Here's, oh yeah. Got to open a case for yourself. Oh yeah? Let's see. Again, no hollows, please. One more box. Yeah. All right, you got it, man. Thank you for donating the hollows out of here, guys. They really stack up like regular bulk cards. Here's a hollow. Oops. Here's a hollow. Here's a hollow. I am, without a doubt, I am more of a Pokemon fan. I always have been. You know, I've seen Weiss kind of go up in price. I've seen One Piece go up. I've seen Dragon Ball go up. For me, it's just Pokemon. I just buy Pokemon all the time. And there's nothing wrong with liking other hobbies. Pokemon's really overpriced at this point. But I did not watch One Piece myself. So when I was younger, I just watched Pokemons and opened Pokemon. One Piece cards didn't exist back then. Which also has to make you wonder, what will One Piece look like 20 years from now when there's some, like, you know, when these sets are older and there's some nostalgia for them. Could be really crazy 20 years from now. No sponge. For my OP order, donate the hollows as well. Thoughts on Lorcana? I feel personally Lorcana has failed. I don't know about you guys, but I see it on the shelves at Target and Walmart, and I go, ugh. And I feel Disney is failing as a brand. Disney is not doing well. I think Disney basically played politics and lost. You, as a media company, you know, you look at the successful media franchises right now, and they're all like apolitical anime franchises that don't get into stinky Western identity politics. And Disney does get into stinky Western identity politics, and it's completely ruined them. That's my opinion on that. Joshua Whipple. Oops. Ugh. There we go. All right. Yeah, your favorite Japanese animes are doing very well. And they don't do a lot of, you know, they don't do a lot of Western politics in their shows. There we go. One Piece is the biggest anime in the world, so I think it's definitely going nowhere with the new Netflix season. Oh, he means it's not leaving anytime soon. When you say nowhere, it's going nowhere. Like, you're a loser. When do you think Pokemon anime will end? Well, I don't think it's planning on ending for the next 100 years, except for in a disappointing accident. All right, so now we've got some things to do real fast. Mr. Benjamin Garcia needs shipping. We did not finish that last time. Let's see if we can get it done this time. Oh, we got to log back in. Okay, give me a second, guys. We got to log into our shipping software. They ruined Star Wars, that's for sure, says Zanebi. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think sometimes they have hits. But don't forget, one of the biggest flops in cinema history ever came out, I think, this year, wasn't it? 2025? It was early 2025, and it was the Snow White show. Snow White live action. And it set records for how bad it did, for how badly it got rated, and everyone hated it. So, and everyone knew it was going to get hated too. It was like watching a slow train wreck. It was really bad. Okay, here we go. Does it turn it on? I think that is pretty hard to recover from that. All right, we're going to log in, not log in. We're going to head over to the website and head right over here to orders. Don't worry, Mr. Disney will do a Pokemon movie remake where Ash Ketchum is fighting to liberate Japan from the capitalist pigs. Well, Japan already does actually have pretty heavy amounts of taxation and welfare benefits, surprisingly. But, you know, maybe the difference is they're like 98% their own people. So there's not, you know, it just goes to your own people. So you get taxed, and the people who are your own get the money. Yes. You're not being taxed and then it's being sent to Somalia or something, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know how that works, if that's a good feeling or a bad feeling. I personally prefer low taxes. Always will. Okay, here it is. But Japan, they're a high-tax country with a lot of debt, by the way, which is one of the things stopping the Japanese people from being able to build wealth. They have trouble with that. I had no idea Snow White was a live-action show. LMAO, what the hell? What the heliante? Yeah, it was a live-action remake, and it was extremely political, and it was just really horrible. It was horrible in all kinds of ways. 2 million condoms to Somalia, of course. Time for some arc raiders. Japanese women would be okay. Let's see. Star Wars Episode 1, 2, 3 was so peak rip Disney. Okay, let me print this. Are you saying the original trilogy, or are you talking about the prequels? You know, it's funny. I watched the prequels as a kid and a teenager. I liked them better than the original trilogy. I always did. And I said that, and people would make fun of me because they all... not South Park. Star Wars Episode 1 is bad, they would say. I always liked it. Qui-Gon was cool. Darth Maul, one of the coolest bad guys ever. And... you know, the droid army, all of it's clever. The Trade Federation. I guess we're the Trade Federation right now. We're doing a blockade on Venezuela. Here it is. Now, there are 2 of them. Pod racing. That was Episode 1. That's cool stuff. So they made that up during that time period. Okay, so John Lucas is next. This is a pre-order for John Lucas. He wanted 6 boxes of OP14. So you've got 2 boxes available to you, which means you have $336 remaining. Anakin was a bad actor. He was a child. Jar Jar Binks. Everyone hates it for Jar Jar Binks. Misa Jar Jar Binks. He is annoying. But C-3PO was always kind of annoying. It's just how it is. It's the quirky part of Star Wars. Okay, he was the annoying character, and yeah, it's would the movie have been a lot better without him? I'm not actually 100% sure, because Star Wars has that quirkiness to it. It always had a little bit of, like, think of the Ewoks. Ewoks were a little, you know, think of Chewbacca. Chewbacca was a little quirky. So Star Wars always had that to a certain degree. And this time it was, you know, Jar Jar Binks. And I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I was actually surprised when I heard how much hate people had for Jar Jar Binks. I was like, who cares? Like, yeah, he was annoying, but it didn't stop me from enjoying the movie. There you go. All right. I'm going to get Tiny Tina cards. Hayden Christensen was awesome, though, and he has some awesome saber skills if you look it up. He was not good in the Clone Wars. Okay, so he gets the role as Anakin, and he's not that great of an actor in Star Wars Episode 2, Clone Wars, which is probably the weakest of the 3 of the prequels. He's just very dry. He doesn't really emote very much. He's a newbie. He gets better, though. Episode 3, I think he's actually pretty good. Yeah, he improves pretty rapidly. Liar! You with him now? Let's set this. Anakin, no! General Grievous steals the show. He's pretty cool. Yeah, General Grievous. Yeah. There was the whole battle with the droids at the end when the clones actually arrive. There was a good ominous feeling to the Clone Wars. You know, the Republic shows up to help the Jedi, and you're like, yay? Like, where'd all these clones come from? And it's a well-written story. The bad guy was playing the bad guy, who's the Emperor. He's playing both sides of the war, saying, "Oh no, look at this droid army. We're going to need a grand clone army in order to defeat these bad droid guys." Right? So I don't know how many people actually watch Star Wars. Did anyone here not watch Star Wars? I found out Alexis had not watched it. Costco Canada has poutine. You turned her against me. You did that yourself. I've been watching this YouTube channel that does Star Wars AI recreations of certain lore, and it's actually awesome. That's cool. That's cool. AI, huh? When are we going to get a fully written AI movie? From beginning to end. Animated, voice acted. There we go. That'll be interesting, won't it? Will Hollywood go out of business? 25 degrees with light snow, fall after rain and freeze, slow drive to work. I watch Star Trek. I'm a real nerd. We are. Star Trek's okay. Sometimes Star Trek's is very clever, actually. Very philosophical, but I did not watch all the Star Trek. There's a point where it bores me. There's so much of it, and it gets really stinky feeling sometimes. The Borg are cool, though. Here's, very nice. When are we getting R-rated Harry Potter? Oh my God. I actually finally watched it earlier this year. It was great. You liked the prequels a lot. Yeah. Yeah, prequels were really fun. They were my favorite. Here's a holo. This is for John Lucas. Last 2 boxes of OP14. He's left with $330-something because there were no more boxes after that. Okay, you get a leader card out of this one. Okay. Hermione twerking. Imagine. Nah, that ain't right. All right, let's see. Nami. Okay, that box ain't so bad. Leader card in Nami with the underboob. That's a sexy Nami card. Harry using the invisible cloak. Oh, no, bro. We are. Ron in the splash zone. We are. And ta-da! Holo. Mad TV had a spin-off comic of it. Check the blank. I'm sure it's already there. I miss a bit of real locations and real props, puppets, and effects in 1, 2, and 3. Everything feels too CGI. True. We are. There was a certain Jim Henson Muppet quality to the original trilogy. I was always told about the special sort of like chemistry between the original cast on Star Wars episodes, 4, 5, 6, Leia, Luke, Han. I'm not totally convinced of that. I thought that they were a fun trio the way, Harry, Ron, and Hermione are a fun trio, but I don't know. I just, it doesn't excite me that much. I think it's generally true that they do have a good chemistry, but it's not blowing me away. It's basically just a love story between Leia and Han, and he's like this pirate type, and she's kind of a bossy girl. But Luke was really a special character, which is why Disney did a perfect job of destroying him. Isn't that great? Yeah, Luke steals the show for the original trilogy. Luke's sort of like, he's like a spiritual figure where no matter how evil his father is, he doesn't give up on his father. And I think that speaks to a lot of people. And it doesn't have to be a father. It can be anybody in your family, So no matter how to the dark side Darth Vader was and powerful and sort of, plugged into a sort of system he was, Luke didn't stop believing in the small amount of goodness left in him. That's a really powerful story. It is. All right. There's other things like maybe the father's desire to protect his children. Really powerful sort of like, you know, archetypes kind of melted into the story. It's a great thing. Tossing this away. You know, who does your dad care about more, his boss or you? Who does, you know, the dad says, forget about my boss. Forget about maybe forget about my religion. My family's more important than my fundamentalist religious beliefs. That kind of stuff. It's kind of timeless. Luckily, Disney ruined all that by bringing Palpatine back. Perfect. Oh my God, dude. And turning Luke into some kind of like anti-Jedi dummy. And Luke's this guy who gives up. Because that's totally his character in the original. Yeah, it's like the opposite of his character, isn't it? Oh, look at that. Okay, a little silver lining here because you do get the Gold Dawn. Very nice. Listen to you get the Star Wars rant during your segment, Mr. John Lucas. John Lucas. You're like Mr. Lucas. You're like, what am I trying to say? What's the name of the director for Star Wars? Lucas Harrington's coming to mind. Why is that name coming to mind? Who's the director for Star Wars? Lucasfilms. His name's not. Hold on. Wait. Why can't this come to mind? My mind's blotting it out. George Lucas. You know what it is? I'll tell you why it was stuck in my mind. Because John and George are so close to each other phonetically. They sound very close. John, George. And my brain was like, well, the name of the director is John Lucas. And then I would go, no, it's not. I was stuck on it for a second there. I was about to go look it up on Google. George Harrington. All right. Here we go. Very nice. Yeah, so you get the Star Wars portion of the stream, Mr. John Lucas, whose name is surprisingly close to George Lucas. Ooh, look at this. All right, very nice. We've got a holo. So out of this last box, we're pulling a Gold Dawn, which is not so bad after all. And then you still, the fun part is you didn't sweep a bunch of cold boxes, so you've still got a lot of your money left. So that's not as bad of a scenario as we might think. And you did not miss a manga either. So you didn't go deep on these, and you didn't go deep on this round in the sense that the other boxes were already taken. So you've got your 336 left over, you get a nice Golden Dawn, and you didn't miss out on a manga. So that's not too bad, actually. Gold Mihawk. Yeah, you pulled the Gold Mihawk. Is it Mihawk or Mihawk? It's got to be Mihawk. It is. Oh, yeah. Then after all that, he gives up in Kylo Ren and tries to kill him. Haha. It's really frustrating. It's truly frustrating. I have to rank The Last Jedi as one of the worst movies I've ever watched in my lifetime. It's sort of like, it was devastating. Karis and I came out of theaters looking at each other like, what the because she's a huge Star Wars fan herself, by the way, if you didn't know that. She was a very, very big fan of anything that's sci-fi. And she couldn't stand it. I remember after we watched the movie, we spent like a month or two just watching negative reviews on the show. Every single one we could find. It is very nice. Everything was wrong about that movie. Every step of it. It was so frustrating. All right, so Disney said, don't worry, we know how to protect franchises. And then they went on and ruined Disney. Oh, yeah, Nami, Trafalgar Law, Mihawk, and this guy who is Roronoa Zoro. Is that him? Looks like it's him, wearing a slightly different outfit. Any other full arts? I think that's it. Okay, overall, I don't think this was a bad round right here. That's a decent round. So, now he gave up his holo. Did he? I can't remember, did he? I think he gave up his holos last time. He donated his holos. I remember. It's still in his box, actually. And there we go. We're going to go ahead and remove those now. Mihawk has a coffin as a ship. Chad. We are. He's chadding it up. Very nice. Very good. Happy Thursday night, Friday morning, by the way, guys. I hope you guys are having a fantastic December. This is the last week before Christmas. So how many of you guys celebrate Christmas, and what's your Christmas look like? I want to know, what are your family traditions? Do you have anything special planned? Who here thinks that they have the best Christmas of anyone in the group? And tell us why you think your Christmas is best. We are. All right. When I was young, I have to admit, when I was young, Christmas in my family was pretty good. Something about having tons of children makes Christmas more fun. There we go. Because you get to watch kids excitedly open cards, or not open cards, open presents for like, it takes like 4 or 5 hours. It takes all morning. And then we'd have like sugar cookies and cinnamon rolls and whatever we wanted. There was Christmas candy. I think I ate more sugar on Christmas than I did on Halloween as a kid. Okay, thank you, John Lucas. That's done. We're going to call him George Lucas. Here's Lou Costa. He says, for 5 Korean, I need my fix. Now, I don't know what he's referring to here. This is Lou Costa. He says 5 Korean. That could refer to a lot of things. I'm going to say $10. Came my order in? Yeah, let's see. There's a little bit of a wait time on the orders. Here's a CS Min order. Here's an Alexandra order. Yes, your order's in. We just have a little bit of a wait time, okay? But don't worry, we're going to catch up. Let me hit refresh on this as well. Did we get this one done? This one for Nathan? Yeah, we got this one done for Nathan. I'll be working Christmas. I did work on Christmas in the past when I was single and alone, sort of. Not super exciting. Okay, so Zach is done. I believe it is Michael Pettiford who's next. So, Michael Pettiford sent 3 separate orders. And the first order is for a Topps first movie. Good choice. Is Lou Costa here? I'll be getting paid double, though, so all good. Nice, man. Okay, let's see. As I'm getting older in life, I feel like it's a very important skill almost. Like it's a skill to be able to properly celebrate. And I don't mean like go to the club celebrate. I mean like have like a traditional sort of holiday or something. I feel like that's really important. When you're younger, you don't value those things as much. You just value money or just like, I don't want to work very hard. Money or comfort, one or the other. So Michael says 5 of the Japanese EB3 and 2 of the Japanese OP14s and 1 Black Bolt Korean. Okay, here's a Black Bolt. And I actually think I do have some of those OP14s left. Let's see. What's that? Oh, this is it. So we have a little bit of OP14 left. Is this ode to John Lucas? I feel like he would be okay with me selling this to you. I'm going to sell this to you. There it is. All right. Okay. I don't think he would mind. And 5 of the EB3s. 5 EB3s. Mister, it's 4 separate orders. Okay, 4 separate orders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So that's the finishing of that order. He likes to split his orders into pieces. Oh, I see. So this is actually 2 emails crushed together. So 1 OP14 and 1 OP10. And one of these. The 1 OP10. There it is. Okay. Yeah? Okay, all done. We're all out of OP14s, though, so don't try to buy any more, guys. There it is. Let's start with your cheaper packs, and then we'll open the more expensive Pokemon first movie. By the way, I want to jump over here real fast. Give it a minute. And we're going to grab this. Okay. Ooh, wow. And we're going to hit refresh on this. Let's see. All right. An exciting Thursday night. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight, guys. Let's start sneaping these packs up, huh? All right, so sneap number 1. And sneap number 2. And sneap number 3. And we've got our cute little Zekrom as well. Perfect. All right, that's all done. Ready? Zekrom. Cold. OP14. Here's a holo. Here's a holo. Here's a holo. No luck. EB3. Here's a holo. Oh, very nice. You got Lady Trafalgar. Well, look at those likes, man. You guys did an awesome job. Thanks, guys. We have a great group, man. There are. Okay. I'm going to set up a giveaway for you guys, okay? Actually, the title says that there's a giveaway. So we're going to set up a giveaway right after this. Here's a little more EB3. A little more EB3. Okay, so for your One Piece, you didn't do too bad, actually. You kind of sniped a hit there out of the some of those loose packs. Are you doing an end of the year stream? Yeah, we've been doing an end of the year stream. Oh, you mean that runs through like midnight or something? Well, it's probably just going to be at our usual time. So maybe it'll be midnight in California as we run. All right, here we are. Ooh. I like to stream on the holidays. I feel like it's a good thing to keep people entertained. And then Karis and I can just celebrate on the weekends. That's kind of how we do it. Our lives aren't too messed up by my stream schedule. If I was British. All right. Ooh, playtime. Beautiful. Wow. Look at that, everybody. It might be time for me to reprice these, by the way. There we go. We sold through the previous box of these. That's why I say that. So I think I'd like to know how much a restock on these costs today, because these do sell very fast. Miss Diane helps with that. She finished off a box, and now this is the second box. That's how fast we're flying through these. And so I may need to take a moment and see if these need to be considered on a reprice. Here's Stealing Pokemon. Here's Conscious and Congratulations. Okay. This card's really cool. I really like this Angry Mewtwo with the exploded test tube. Super cool, man. So you'll notice how good that was. That Topps pack like pretty much guaranteed you a hit. How crazy is that, huh? CS Man's still waiting for his turn. Don't worry, CS Man. We're going to get to that. Michael Pettiford, let me grab your bag. Thanks for all the orders, by the way, guys. I made it before the weather gets worse. How has taking Sundays off been treating you? I feel like it's just sort of wasted time, to tell you the truth. I feel like I could go right back to streaming on Sunday. However, when AI told me that taking time off had to be non-negotiable, it kind of explained that it's not about whether I'm tough enough to stream on Sunday. It said it's a lot more to do with the fact that you guys appreciate it when the streams are more rare. It says I'm over streaming. And I was like, I kind of get that. Like if the stream's on 24/7, yeah, you have more access to the store, but the store seems less rare. And so, you know, one day we could also have just one stream per day, maybe like 1 4-hour stream per day instead of 2. So I kind of get it. You know, streaming so often likely reduces our viewership, or at least spreads it out between 2 streams and stuff like that. All right, let me take a quick look at that Topps box, shall we? When Hugh made it before the weather gets worse. I love these packs. Already read that. Topps Pokemon first movie box. All right, let's take a quick look at this. I believe what's going on is the Canadian print, or the, I call it international print, is very expensive, right? We can get an English print. Let me see. Maybe that's the next move, is to just get English print. Oh, not this guy, though. How about this one? Uh-huh. Okay, so there's a big difference, though, between that and the international print, because you might get very different stickiness rates. So let me try this out. I've got this one right here. Let me try doing this real fast. I want to do this with taxes. I think we pay about 7%. Okay. And now let's try this with import fees. Freaking import fees. Oh my God. All right. So I see my acquisition price now. It does say we could change the price to about 110. Is that worth it? Let me think about it. I'll leave it alone just for a little while. We'll think about it next time, okay? So Michael Pettiford's order is done. Now we have to take a look into Mr. CS Man. Same as yesterday, 6 Evo Skies and 1 box of EB3. Oh, yeah. So the Evo Skies are over here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a $420 order from our friend Mr. CS Man. He's sticking to this box. He's saying, let's keep going. Do you have the movie 2000 packs? I do, actually. I do. I've thought about selling one. It would not be cheap. It'd be like $600 probably. But I think the ones I have might be a bit sticky. So they're better to leave sealed, actually. And then, well, if I'm just going to leave them sealed, why don't I just grade them? Why should I sell them ungraded? All right, you ready? Here goes. Oh, I was going to snip them the old style. Let's go ahead and open them slowly. Let's open them like OG packs. I have no idea what to open. Yeah? We are. Well, if you pull Umbreon, you're not going to feel sorry about that. Here's Sylveon. Ooh. Okay, Sylveon. Okay, very nice. Here's... So you're just trying to open something, huh? Oops. Here's Mareep, Jumpluff. Let me ask you guys a question. I got a question for the audience. Which set on the menu or what product, doesn't have to necessarily be booster packs, what product on the menu do you guys think has the highest return on investment, ROI, in your opinion? Okay. We've got Lit Leo. He's very lit. So CS Min suspects that it's Roaring Skies. Okay. Here's Golduck. Those are pretty expensive, though. Actually, no, the AO Box Break. The AO Box Break definitely has the highest peak potential, I'd say. And actually, it might have a better ROI than Roaring. Even though it's more expensive, it takes more capital to open it. But it has so many good cards in it. Yeah, Ancient Origins might be my choice as well, by the way. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. What set has the highest ROI on the menu right now? Okay. Currently, Poke ROI says White Flare, but I would have to put in your prices because that is just based off of TCG prices. Here's Golduck, Litleo, Mareep, Jumpluff. All right, you got some holographics. Here it is. All right, Digging Gloves. I need to restock White Flare. I have am I the only one that doesn't believe in that? I have a lot of trouble believing White Flare is the top ROI. When you can get the same exact Victini from Black Bolt and you get a better Zekrom, I don't think that, Reshiram is quite as popular. But not only that, it's got the Seismitoad in it too, and some other key cards. But here's the other problem I have with it. I have a lot of trouble believing any black-white set is going to be top ROI because so many Pokemon from Black and White don't sell. Look at that Golduck, right? Like, there's just a lot of Pokemon designs that are really poopy during that time period. Cleared the cold side, hopefully tomorrow. It's more hits. Yes. All right. So here's that chunk of bulk again. All right. And it's going to fill this box up super fast. Okay. What do you guys think? Does anyone have any thoughts on that? Which set has the best chance for a return on your money? Mega Dream's not bad. You know, Mega Dream's got so many good reverse hollows. It's got so many good chase cards in it. I like Mega Dream. There we go. How about Crown Zenith? Anyone ever think about Crown Zenith? That's on the menu. That one's pretty good. I noticed Crown Zenith has a really high pull rate. And what about Pokemon Go? That's a set nobody opens. I think everyone assumes that that set has a bad ROI, but nobody really knows what the value of the Ditto 10 is, right? Like, is there a Ditto 10 for sale right now? Let's see. PSA 10 Ditto Go. Oh, here we go. Okay, so there is a Ditto for sale. They want $800 for it. So the Ditto, if you can get a 10 on the Ditto, it's $800. Yeah, so the English Ditto has such a low population, it's crazy. And then one of the ways that Pokemon Go makes you money, all the reverse hollow stamps and hollow stamps are all like top tier Pokemon. Pikachu, Charmander, yeah, I think Charmander's in there, but Pikachu, Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, the starters. There's a really cute Squirtle, for example. And I look at those as highly gradable. You know, they're already old and nobody bothered grading them in the first place. You got like the Radiant Charizards in there, Radiant Eevees in there. Yeah, I mean, I actually think that set's pretty decent. Ditto 10s go for 500. Yeah, the Dittos they're not terrible. And the thing about Pokemon Go is it's not horribly expensive. But actually, take a look at this real fast. Looks like the Ditto sold for $2,000, actually. Low population of 48. Yeah, the Ditto from Pokemon Go is weirdly low population. So he once sold for $2,000. That person likely overpaid, though. It's weird. I feel like the demand is not super high on that Ditto. But he's a very strange card. Very hard to obtain, very low pop. And people right now, I don't think they appreciate him. But they will over time. All right, so you're not done. You need a box of EB3. I'll be right back. I have to go gather some EB3. How do you guys like this fanciful flight card? Notice he is for sale, but like for some ridiculous amount. It is. Because I'll never obtain that card again if I sell it to you. If I sell that card, I'll probably never see it again. Let me take a picture of it and put it in the expensive channel. So here is our Pricey Slabs channel. We have a channel in Discord for Pricey Slabs, and he is going to be one of them. I'll put it down here. You can grade it 10, and PSA will buy the Ditto for $700 probably. I have the Bidoof Ditto, but centering says not a 10. Pokemon Go still didn't move up really for its age. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm saying maybe it's actually kind of underpriced. You've got this super low pop Ditto that appears to be available for high prices. You've got a nice Altart Mew in it. You got a couple Altarts. You got a Radiant Charizard in there. But most of all, you got a bunch of stamped reverse hollows that are pretty decent. You know, they're not selling for like $10,000, but they're selling maybe for $100 if you get a good stamp. Now, one box of EV3. I'll be right back. Let me get that EV3. All right, here we are. So for One Piece collectors, we have 3 sealed cases of PRB2. We got lots of it. Potentially a manga. Just wanted to let you know, that's one of the ones we have a lot of. Here we are. Gives you a direction to go. What are those boxes doing there, I wonder? All right. Ooh, ready? You said a year ago that peelable Ditto would be something big one day. Well, it looks like one sold for 2,000 in November, but then one did poorly in auction in December. So that's a really interesting contrast. It's like this card that people don't appreciate for what it is. But how can you have a modern card with only like Pop 48 on it? It's truly rare. A lot of Pokemon cards are not, a lot of Pokemon cards are not that rare. He's just a Ditto though. But he's also a Ditto with a strange mechanic. You have to find him and peel him. So I think over time he has a pretty serious potential. I want to pull a manga once and then never open One Piece again. He about to learn. No, I'm just kidding. Good luck. Yeah, it's not super easy. All right. Snipping this. What's your favorite Pokemon, CS man? You got a favorite Pokemon? I know you mentioned Slowpoke once. Snipping that. Okay. Putting that over there. I just want to pull a manga once. Boop. Don't forget, guys, we have the Ancient Origins break just throbbing, waiting to be opened. Here's Nami. Lovely Nami. Slowpoke, Entei, Sandslash, Typhlosion, Tyranitar. I like Tyranitar. But let's see. Entei, huh? Any good Entei sets? It's funny you should say Entei because Ancient Origins has an expensive Entei in it. It's an Ancient Trait Entei. So that's another card in the Ancient Origins set. Sandslash. There's obviously the Dark Sandslash. He's probably one of the most expensive. I think there's a Sandslash in Legendary Collection. I don't feel like there's been an expensive Sandslash card in the modern cards in a while. And then Typhlosion, maybe Staff Typhlosion. Did you notice we had a Staff Typhlosion up there? And then let me think. And then Tyranitar. And then there's Staff Tyranitar. Shiny Voltorb is my favorite. Here we are. Hence why I paid for Dark Sandslash. Yeah, he's a good one. He's one of the most expensive Sandslashes you're going to be able to collect. Here we are. Poker Sandslash. You probably don't have that. Here's a holo. Here's a holo. Here's a holo. And here's this girl with the really big hat. What is going on here? Okay, so that's going to be your hit out of the box. Out of the box. Clap, clap. Out of the box. Funny to see you here, mister. Oh, if you didn't red label it, I would have slabbed it away, but it's in a price range where I feel I can just buy it and stuff in the PSA vault. Yeah, that's true. Here's a holo. Here's a holo. Here's a holo. Yeah, I guess I'm appealing to people who like to pay it down over a long period of time. Here's a holo. Pizza Girl. And here's a holo. And here also is, haha. There you go. We got your Dawn card. Very nice. Dawn card is second from last in these packs. I wonder why they did it that way. There you go. So once again, if you're a One Piece collector, we actually have a lot of the PRB2. If you're looking for a good shot at a manga, might be hidden in there somewhere. Okay, let's get this into your box. Have a seat. Right over here, right over there. What are you doing? I don't know. I've been watching so much Chris Hansen. It's insane. I've watched tons of Chris Hansen. Okay. What do you think would have happened if I wasn't here? Okay. All right. Lots of hollows back there. The Tism. What? Who's got the Tism? Not me. Certainly not me. Okay. Oh, good. That fits right in. Haha, that's what she said. Dude, I was watching this Chris Hansen episode today, and it was actually like this really prominent guy's son got caught, and Chris Hansen is reading like the texts. That's always part of it. It's like a humiliation tactic. He's reading the text to the guy who showed up to the trap house or whatever it's called, the decoy. And this he's writing the most reprehensible possible text to what he believes is a 15-year-old, but actually it's a detective, right? And he's saying stuff like, oh, it won't hurt because my penis is small or something like that. It's like, oh my God, dude. I don't think I've ever watched anything more entertaining than Chris Hansen on TV. It's just the wildest stuff that people say in privacy. Like, oh my dear Jesus, dude. Who says that? All right, let me go ahead and jump over here to the consignment slab. Ta-da! All right, we're going to take a picture of these. Click. He was roasting himself, man. It is cringe to the max. He had like his hands in his head. Like, well, good job. You've thrown your whole life away. Okay, so that is the end of your order, and now we're moving on to Miss Alexandra's order. 5 boosters of Metazoo base set. It's in the hidden menu. Ooh. Mr. Rest says, how much silver do you have if you feel comfortable saying? Yeah, I feel comfortable. Very little. I don't actually have that much. Almost all my money is in Pokemon. A little bit of gold, a little bit of silver. 99% Pokemon. All right. So the base set. Now, we ran into a pack of that. I don't know if I have any left. Let me go look. I might not have any, Miss Alexandra. I should have read the order. Give me a moment here. Aha! We are not sold out. Why did I think we were sold out of this? Have a seat right over there. Okay. I swear, Chris Hansen gets a power trip on this whole stuff. The way he talks, the way he moves. He loves it. There we go. Ooh. He never says it, but it's probably an extremely fun job. How many ounces? I can show you all my silver in a moment if you'd like. I can sell you some too if you'd like. So silver and gold have been doing pretty well, especially silver this last month. Silver's way up. And so people they're feeling it. They're saying, oh man, I better buy some of this. Because silver and gold is doing well. Silver and gold. All right. All right. Nice. So we got a whole box, 1 whole box for Miss Alexandra. Now I can't do that though, Alexandra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we were besties, I could do it. I don't know if we're besties. We are. Put this in here. What do you think about buying Japanese mangas? One Piece mangas, they seem to do fine. I mean, we host breaks on Japanese mangas and they sell. So there we go. So how much are these? $4 a pack, everybody. $4 a pack for base set Metazoo. There goes. Let's put away. Ooh. Gonna restock the gold. I think I sort of did. We got these gold grams for $190 if you'd like one. Okay. If you win a break, you can actually trade that break in for the gold. You can say, hey, I want to turn that card in for gold. Speaking of which, should I show off the breaks? Let's show off the breaks right after this, everybody. Okay. I don't want to do it before. I'll end up giving Miss Alexandra blue balls. Snip this. Snip. Okay. Oh. So what's all going on in the news tonight, guys? I heard that they're saying they got the Brown University shooter. Oh, look at this. Right away, you pulled Sun Wukong. How's this considered? Wait. Is he worshipped as a god or just as a funny book character? I actually don't. Maybe this is correct. Sun Wukong? He's sort of a fairy tale, isn't he? Yeah, I suppose he is. I can't tell. Is he respected as sort of like a deity, or is he more like a story? It is full art of secret rare. Very nice. All right, set that there. That's the cover of the. That's the cover artwork of the packs. Lightning Worm, Jersey Devil. Oops. Here's. I like my Japanese mangas. They're doing well. Everyone get into the AO box break. Yeah, he's right. I'd love to see the Ancient Origins box break go off sometime. It will eventually. It always takes a while. When it goes off, it's super awesome. Here's Casey Jones. Hey, look, it's Ho-Oh. Okay. Pretty cool. Maybe that is what Ho-Oh is based off of. And Rolling Thunder. Lechuza. Phoenix. Okay, there we have it. Sunwoo is what Goku is based off of. Oh, okay. All right, Sun Wukong. And let's go ahead and split this in half. Just leaving these up. This is worth the bounty spot. We can get you a bounty spot for sure. I don't mind. There we go. I think that's fair. Deity you like. What did Trump talk about at the address? You know, I did not sit down and watch the whole address. But apparently military soldiers are getting a $1,700 bonus check. So that's pretty cool, I guess. I'm not against that. I think I complain a little bit that Donald Trump gives a lot of money away. Here it is. He's kind of like a socialist. He wants to be popular with the people. And that's what often communist or socialist leaders do the same thing. They say, here, everybody gets free stuff. And so it's kind of like a trick. And I don't like it that much. But so he's giving the soldiers a bonus check. And then he's, what does he do? That's the main thing that I remember. What else did he announce? Did he announce anything else that was really serious? I think he just kind of talked it up. I can't remember, actually, if he said anything serious. Oh, weed. We had a weed break on the daytime stream. You guys missed it. So Oddish, we did an Oddish break, and it actually went through. I can run it a second time because I had, as it turned out, I had 2 of the Oddishes. Here it is right here. So this is supposed to be saved for 420. This is a pretty good vintage Oddish from Hidden Legends. That's Gold Star era Oddish, 2004. We can host a second weed break if you guys would like. We hosted one in the daytime stream and it popped off. Yes. But basically, I signed it with today's date. It was 12/18/25 because we got rescheduled into being a Schedule 3 drug. That basically is a fancy way of saying it's no longer a big crime to use weed. Weed, basically, at the federal level, was made into a less criminal drug. It's not exactly legal, though. It's in the same categories like steroids. Yes. Can't believe I missed that, says Andy Man. Kind of fell in love with Metazoo. Nice. Yeah, so if you guys want me to host a weed break on this, I'm willing to do that. Because it went off in the daytime stream pretty fast. And we can host it twice if you wish. Okay, just let me know. So Miss Alexandra is taken care of. Thank you, Miss Alexandra. We have a big order coming up. The checks for the troops comes out to $2.5 billion. At least I know it's going to actual U.S. citizens. I don't know. It's not a foreign handout. It's not a handout to people who are foreign and in the country. You know what I mean? Which is still a foreign handout. It's going to actual U.S. soldiers. It's hard to criticize it because it's like, it's hard to criticize anything that you do in favor of the military. Those guys go out, they get shot and killed. Like there's the guys who just got killed in Syria, right? So it's like, if anyone deserves a handout, maybe it's them. I don't care. Why not? Yeah, it's hard to criticize them. I'm not signing up for the military, so somebody's got to do it. All right, there we go. Not the most offensive way to spend $2 billion. And they'll probably go spend it on Pokemon cards and weed. Yeah. And we actually have a lot of military soldiers that come into this stream and open Pokemon cards. Did you guys know that? We get a lot of military members or former military members. They like Pokemon cards. All right, next up, we got Grant J. Kwan. He says Slab Away. Oh, this is a very easy order then. $250 to Slab Away. Let's see. He heard that money was already allocated to troops and then he renamed it. I don't know about that. That might be true, but I don't know anything about that. Okay, Mr. Grant. Maybe what you're saying is he's already using the military budget, which if that's true, that's not a terrible thing. So let's see. Meaning he's not just pulling the money out of thin air. He's using the military budget to give service members a bonus. So your card is down to $490. Okay, $490. You're probably pretty happy that you put those two items into Slab Away, Gligar and Murkrow. Those are, if I recall, those are reverse hollows from the Aquapolis, Sky Ridge, and Expedition era. And those are going up. Joining the military has a real effect on one's life path. Yeah, sure. Thoughts on HHS cuts to Pediatrics Academy? I don't know what HHS is. Health Human Service Department or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what that money did anyways. I bet the troops can use that money for Christmas shopping. Sure. So what do you guys think? Would you like this oddish to be another break, one for the nighttime stream? Let me know in the comment section if you would jump into this oddish. I believe for the daytime, it was like a 1 in 4 odds. So it's a pretty short break. There we go. So let's see. What do we got now? Mr. Grant's done. Big order from Grant, but it was a Slab Away payment. We're going to hit refresh over here. Hey, what's up, Mr. Kendo? We have an empty queue. It's now 3:17 a.m. and the queue is empty. There were some big orders tonight, but the queue is officially empty and we can do whatever we want now. We can work on a jumbo pack break. I'm going to start off by showing you all of the current breaks and let's get a giveaway going. Let's see. We got to get a giveaway going. Let me see if we got anything up on the table that's good for a giveaway. Oh, you know what? I do have something for a giveaway because Mr. Mark said he'd like to give away some Metazoo slabs. So I'll be right back. Jump on the one-piece box break. Yes, there's a one-piece box break occurring over here for $40 for a whole box of OP13 English. You can keep it sealed if you prefer. This, ironically, it's a 13-spot break. So I'll be right back. Let me go get that item. All right, here we are. I'm back. I'm looking at these boxes real fast, see if there's anything fun in here. Let's see. Give me one moment. All right. So I was just looking through my slabs there. Okay. Whew. Wow, 44 viewers. That's it tonight, huh? Okay, grabbing that. Let me hit refresh over here. I'm hitting refresh. You know what? Our views are consistent with other channels. That's interesting. Just a slow night for Pokemon, I guess. Wild. Okay, well, let's go ahead and put this over here. A nighttime stream break on the Oddish. I think I'm going to offer it. Why not? Let's go for it. Let's stop talking about it. So it should say 12, 18, 25, schedule 3, and then my signature. There it goes. All right, there it is. I'm gonna toss this away. That's the 420 Oddish break. All right, lovely. Let's go ahead and get his sleeve. It's kind of upsetting that there seems to be a small, possibly selective release of Epstein photos every few days instead of just releasing them all. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. There we go. The Epstein files. Oh yeah, there was a new Epstein file photo. I saw a photo of Bill Gates with different women. Crazy. There we go. One thing that seems to be clear about Jeffrey Epstein is he seemed to know everybody. But Bill Gates being with multiple girls is pretty strange, isn't it? He's a nerd, you know? You don't think of him as like this sort of like player type. I'm not very good at drawing weed images. All right, so that's the next weed break. Set this over here. So in the daytime stream, it was 1 in 4 spots, $35 a spot. We're going to run that twice. If there's one thing we do better than other streams, it's all of our crazy breaks. And then I'm going to grab this. His wife divorced him for it. Yeah, remember that? Miss Melinda Gates divorced him, and it wasn't exactly clear why she did that. Here we are. I can't remember, Mr. CS-Man. What did we sell you this Jolteon for? Say PSA 10, Jolteon. That's a second Jolteon we actually own. Just working my life away. Yeah, we all are, man. Let's see. Sent an order. Nice. Cool, man. So now we've got this Oddish break. It celebrates marijuana being reclassified into a Schedule 3 drug, which is a less offensive kind of drug. All right. Well, I have to go on the price of the current buy it now of this Jolteon. And it looks like it would be about $25 taxes. The price on this guy shall be $5.25. This might be your next slab away right here, guys. If you're looking for, here we go, a nice 10. There it is. That has just been added to the table now. Here's the Oddish. So now that we're done with all those orders, we can work on stuff like this. So we're going to give away this Metazoo Mothman, and then he's got a 10 on the Babe Blue Ox. He had to, you know, he had to sell it or something. I can understand him giving away Bigfoot as well. Bigfoot's just a 5, isn't he? Yeah, I think you're right. I think that it would make a lot of sense that she divorced him because she knew about him cheating on her, basically, in the Epstein Island. And then she said, well, we're getting a divorce then. Yeah, it was a bit strange when all that came out. You know, I looked at Karis and said, even the billionaires can't stay in one relationship. Okay, so we're going to put the free sticker on this. That's one of the giveaways for tonight. If the night runs real late, we'll do 2 giveaways. How does that sound? I sent for some grading, mister, says Mr. Whipple. Do you think Metazoo has a future after the reboot? Well, that's an interesting thing to ask. I think that there's a chance, certainly, that Metazoo sticks around for a long time, and we reach kind of a 10-year mark for the release of the Kickstarter, which came out in 2019. So 2029 is not that far away, and at the 10-year mark, we'll see what kind of nostalgia there is for it. I feel like there's a chance. There's a chance. And I think that's probably why when it went out of business, another group was pretty fast to buy it, because it has a name that everyone recognizes, whether you like it or not. Everyone recognizes that name, Metazoo. So here's Mark. The premise of the card set is that it's based around like folklore, already existing monsters. So these monsters like Sun Wukong or Bigfoot or the Mothman, I think that there's some potential there. We'll see how it goes. What we know is trading cards are very popular and very profitable, so they have to sell enough of it to justify their existence. That's all they need to do. Now, I'm going to go over here and hit reset on the Nightbot. Give me a minute here. We're going to say Mark, capital M. Okay, Mark is it. I'm going to put you in here right away, Miss Alexandra, because I can tell you really are enjoying this series. So you're going to go in for free. And you can get a second spot in here if you're lucky. All right, there you go. So you're already in. Voila. It's easy for a poor man to stay in one relationship because not many women want a poor man. But when you're loaded with money, even the nerdy guys can get the hot women because of the money. Hear that, guys? I'm basically knee deep in pussy. All right, let's get it. So here's Grant J. Kwan, and he says, spot for the Blastoise. Oh, yeah. Man, this Blastoise is on the move, man. Sealdos Blastoise 10, a truly rare card. You got it. People are actually buying spots in here, and he is getting close. He's got 10 spots remaining. He might be the next card to go off. Vintage. Oh, we got to get Miss Alexandra a spot in the bounty. Forgot about that. So let's move this up to 13. The Blastoise moves up to 13, and he's secretly closer to 14 because there is a partial star spot out there too somewhere. I think there is, isn't there? So that's 13 out of 23. He's a moving. Okay, and then let's see. So where's my bounty? Where's my bunting? When does that bounty go off? The end of December. All you need to do to get into the bounty, you need to pull some kind of hit from some set to get at least one spot in the bounty. So Miss Alexandra, she's going to have at least one spot in there. We are. And actually, what we know is that we also need to put Joshua Whipple in here. He gets a spot tonight, doesn't he? All right, very good. Did you put me in there for the Pikachu? For the Pika? Did you mean... Wait, is that the name of the character? Surname Pika? There we are. Ta-da! Okay. Bloop. That's a fat bag, man. 13 spots in that Blastoise. He's getting close. Okay. What do we got going on here? So, Oddish Break. The new trade break. That's right. You can trade $5 worth of cards to get into this Tag 9 Vintage Slowpoke. He's a Slowbro, actually. You could just buy in for $5 if you prefer. Here's the Mega Break. Don't forget about that Nido King. He's got a long way to go. It's true. He's just a really nice card. That is English, by the way. English Crystal Nido King. He's always a big card. Here's Master Ball Cubone, and he's only $30. So 30 bucks on Master Ball Cubone. I thought Cubone would move a little faster because he's Cubone, you know, like Cubone. Hello. Here's Gengar. He's just got a lot of competition right now. He's got 9 spots to go. This guy's almost got him beat. The Blastoise's almost ahead of the Gengar now. So that's very fascinating. And then over here, we have the Heartbreak Break with this Charizard stuck on spot number 10. Surprisingly stuck on 10. But you can't blame these slabs for moving slow somewhat. There's just so many options. It's unbelievable. I mean, in the daytime stream, the Oddish went off, the Trade Break went off, something else went off, and people are buying like live customs and stuff. I mean, there's just so many options these days. It's really tricky, isn't it? But there we have it. Pretty cool. The breaks. I'm going to set them over here, in fact. Trying to make more room on the table. Okay. The mark giveaway type mark for this potential Mothman Metazoo going into your collection. A new pricey slab. This is Jolteon from Prismatic. We know how hard it is to get hits out of Prismatic. So instead of opening up $500 worth of Prismatic packs and then still getting a 9 on your Jolteon that you pull, you can just buy one outright for 500 bucks. Okay, so that's an option. So Ty Popular did not sell on the last round. We're going to lower Ty Popular to a cheaper price. Okay. Okay, we're going to do 130. Good. Pillage my bag for a trade spot. Let's do it. That's all you have to say, in fact. It's very easy to get a trade spot. Got some nice cards up there, man. They're kind of hard to see without like a zoom or something. Anthony Kalura. Now, Andy, man, you'd be Andrew, right? Let's go find your bag. Mr. Andrew, let's see what you got. Because it's not a heavy bag. It means you would have to trade some other things. So this is Korean, Nidoran, Korean, Sandaconda, Parasect. Ooh, you don't have a lot to trade in. So these can be traded in. That guy could be traded in. These can be traded in. Glaceon can be traded in. The Parasect. Is that like a Bisharp? That's tough. You can make me an offer, maybe. I can tell you that some of your cards are junkier than others. I mean, yeah, it just depends on what you want to give up. I don't know. It's got to equal about $5 worth. Would you ever do like a 100-spot break for a massive card? Yeah, that would be a $4,000 card, wouldn't it be? 40 times 100, that would be 4,000, I think. Yeah, it would be. And so we've already done that. That was literally the Gengar, the Mega Break Gengar. And now we have this Nidoking up there, and he's an even larger break. How's the queue looking for tonight? The queue's looking small. All right, Mr. Andrew Martin, I don't really know what from your bag you'd like to trade. Put that up there. Let's see. That's where the Mega Break's coming. Yeah, that's exactly right. So we've got an order from, let's hit refresh. Let's check that PayPal queue. Here it is, Mr. Kendo, 2 HoloLive Elite Spark boxes. I have a bag. All right, I'm going to go grab some Elite Sparks, everybody. Okay. HoloLive Elite Sparks. You can take whatever brings me up to a spot or skip it for another time. Okay. Grab this. Well, I don't want to take too much from you, but it is. Got a mix of cards that are tough. Korean cards on one side, and then kind of junky cards on the other side. There we go. Let's see. Tossing that. And box number 2. Let's get them both open. Kendo Pelor. Ba-doop. Throwing this out. All right, check that out, everybody. So what's the top pull in here, Kendo? Do a little education for us. Do we know what the top pull is? What's your best potential outcome? Probably some kind of signature, right? I believe we have pulled a HoloLive signature before. I think it's just once, though. I think they're actually pretty hard to pull. I don't even think they're guaranteed per case. The HoloLive signatures. Okay, snipping this. Best card has got to be Armpit Girl. Oh my God. Snipping this. Snipping these. Snipping this. All right. Ooh, it's a lot of cards. All right, here goes. Doggy Girl. You got Hat Girl. You got Bunny Girl. What is she doing? She's standing on the edge of a skyscraper. That doesn't seem like a good role model. Here it goes. Be like me. I'm cool. Here's Water Girl. Cool. And then here's... What is she? She's definitely singing. She's just some girl in some dress, huh? Okay. Another character I don't know. Chibi card. Okay, you got Chibi Konnichiwa character. Okay, very nice. Here's... Let's see. She wants me. What is going on? Cat Girl. Okay, I approve. Here's... Let's see. Squirrel Girl. We've seen that one. This girl's got pastries or something. Mister, if we would like to talk to you about doing shorts for the other channel you talked about, do we email you? I'm very interested since I'm home all the time on medical leave and bored. Yeah, so that is about editing shorts for that channel. And you might be interested in it. What I can tell you guys is I'm looking for somebody who would be interested in editing videos. You'll know if you're suited for it because you have to have a bit of a... it's like being a chef a little bit. So if you think you're a little bit of a chef, that's a good sign. It is, but you're a chef for people's attention and people's eyes. And Mike Side and I have done both of us have done some editing together now over time on the same channel and had some success. Now I'm looking to get one more person who wants to edit a totally different style of shorts. That is to experiment mainly, different styles. Here's the tough part. It really doesn't pay much. That's the truth. When Mike Side got started with me, I didn't really pay him all that much. He just got it a little bit here, a little bit there. And eventually, he started pumping out videos that were pulling in big views. Then he started getting paid a lot better. There was a point where we decided, hey, we got to keep this going. And so that's what we're interested in. We're interested in the second channel, getting videos that Mike Side doesn't post, I don't post, something totally different. And I don't know what that would look like. Maybe it would be a pure repost channel even. You know, so there's always viral clips going on the internet. And it could be like a top 5 moments channel. It could be a market watch channel. It could be, what you could do is take our top clips and mute them so that there's no noise. And then just add like some cool, maybe a bit ambient music to it, to the background for people who like to watch the openings, but they don't want the noise and the screaming. There's a lot of different things to experiment with, but here's the truth. I don't have time to experiment. And Mike Side's probably just going to keep posting Mike Side style shorts. So I would be very open-minded for somebody to try and optimize a second clips channel and just experiment with some ideas. So in order to do this, you would need to have a laptop and the ability to edit videos, and time and patience and an interest in editing. All right, here's a holo. Cook up good moments from the stream. Let them cook. There we go. I believe we're in box number 2 now, Mr. Kendo. Going deep. Tossing this. This was 2 boxes of Elite Sparks. Okay. We also have Curious Universe. Here's a holo. Here's a holo. And here's a girl with the microphone. Very nice. Konnichiwa. All right. Good. Here's pink-haired girl, squirrel girl. Very nice. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. And we also have, let's see, here's a holo kickboxer girl. And pink-haired girl again with the 2 eye colors. Very nice. Bottom half clip, TCC ripping cards. The top half, Nick Fuentes commentary. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. People do that with like Family Guy. They do it with like ASMR videos. Are those still popular? I feel like those aren't popular anymore. Nick Fuentes, man, he's all over the place. I was scrolling through my shorts, and I ran into one where he's sort of like cropped into like a family Christmas dinner, and it's just him complaining about being short, being an incel. It was like, what am I watching, dude? He's definitely he's a funny character. Here it is. Here we are. Ooh. It sort of really makes you think about what influence looks like in the year 2025. Things have changed a lot. Kendo Palour. All right, Kendo. So no Siggy out of here. I don't know if you did well overall, though. 65 for box of PRB2, question mark. Are you saying that that's too low? You know, I haven't looked at PRB2 in a long time. Here it is. Let me rotate these. We got the Squirtle Gym Break. Ah, we need one more person in the Gym Break. My son passed his driver's text yesterday. Driver's text? You mean like the signs part, the book part? Oh, yeah, there's like a quiz, isn't there? The quiz part of the test. Let's see. Nice, dude. What is PRB2 going for? PRB2 case. All right. I am looking up PRB case right now. I have PRB2 directly from cases. So here we go. We have one here in the United States. Perfect. And I have a price in mind now. Divided by how many boxes in a case? 20 boxes in a case. That makes sense. It's a specialty set. Okay. I forgot PRB has less packs, my bad. Doesn't add up. All right, I forgot PRB has less packs, my bad. I think PRB2 is already where I would like to see it be. Let me just take a look at PRB box as well. It's definitely a cheaper box. Okay. Yeah, I haven't looked into this one. I don't even remember if it was that popular, but I think it was. I think we initially ordered like 8 cases of it. All right. Yeah, I think that the price of 65 is just about where I'd like it to be. I think it's kind of perfect right there. Okay. Kenneth Palour, thank you so much, man. We have a Joshua Whipple order for Perona and Crocodile event cards to BGS. Event cards? What are those? Perona, huh? I ought to show you guys some vintage One Piece cards I got that need to be graded for fun. I used to teach driver's ed. That stopped when a student pulled onto the highway going the wrong direction. Not even sure how he managed it. I looked down to check one box, and we were on the ramp. That was my last lesson. Ooh, there you go. That sucks, man. All right, let's see. Scary. All right. So he said, Crocodile event card and Perona. I don't know. That's a nice Perona. Is that Perona? I don't know what you mean by crocodile. The purple and white one. Okay, purple and white. That one. There it is. All right, I'm betting it's those two cards. Nice choices. Off to BGS. Ooh, there's some BGS cards. The BGS submission is past due. We need to send it out. There's some people have been waiting for BGS for a little while. And the problem is we don't have a very large BGS submission. I don't have anything to send to BGS myself. One kid rage quit and slammed the truck in park and jumped out. Luckily, we were practicing parallel parking in a private parking lot. He got pissed. I'm pissed. There we are. Okay. The car I was driving when I took my driver's test had a broken head gasket. And so the way it worked, you could drive it for about 15 minutes before it overheated. And so when it was time for me to do parallel parking, the car was smoking already. And she just told me to stop. And I passed without having to do the parallel parking portion. What do you think of that, guys? Not only that, here's the funny part. I drove myself to the driver test by myself because I was already living by myself. Yes. So I didn't have a parent or guardian with me or anything like that. I was basically breaking the law every time I drove. Okay, Joshua Whipple. B for BGS. I did that too, says Andy Man. It is. Joshua Whipple. Okay. Very nice. Okay. Haha. We'll put this over here. That was also long ago. I almost can't remember it that well, you know? Weird. Don't tell me that. I'm a road safety woman. What? You're going to keep the road safe? I was a bad boy. You're going to have to lock me up. I broke all the rules, Miss Alexandra. Any update on prices? Ooh, not tonight. Not so far. Do you know if Beckett will still keep accepting cards now that they've been bought? Nope. BGS they're through. They'll never grade again or something. They're done. All right, what we got here? Some fresh cards to pop up on the table. Here's a Tammy card. Look at that. That's 190. Look at this double-sided card, huh? Okay. I guess we'll check this one real fast. Did you talk about PSA buying Beckett yet? Uh-huh. They sure did. That's the thing that happened. All right, let's hit refresh. We have a Carter Gortson order. Hey, what's up, Carter? Ooh, he's got a big order. He wants 10 white flares and 10 phantasmal flames. Ooh, let's get it started. Okies, back to updating the website. Nice. So, 10 phantasmals. Ugh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The first year after I ran away from home, I managed to get this job at Target, and I kind of stole a broken vehicle from my family. There was a vehicle, nobody would drive it, and it had a broken head gasket. So it was essentially just a junk car that sat in the driveway. That's all it did. No one drove it. And so I kind of stole the keys and drove it that winter, and that was me driving illegally with the broken head gasket car. That didn't last very long because I eventually had enough money to buy my own car. And that was when I bought a Honda Civic sport car. It was manual transmission. cool little car, actually. Here's a white flare box. I think we're almost out of white flare. The question is, do I restock white flare? What do you guys think? Do I restock it or do I leave it alone? Maybe I do restock it because, you know, white flare, it's not even that old. You wouldn't have liked me, Alexandra. I broke all the rules all the time. When I was 18 driving, I was a total maniac driver. I drove like there were no road rules. I drove as fast as possible all the time. I was like a nightmare driver, but I never crashed. I never actually crashed. I just got a lot of tickets. And then eventually I said, I can't afford these tickets. So I started driving much safer. The tickets worked. The tickets worked on me. I don't like losing money. We are? All right. I was a maniac driver. I drove as fast as possible. We are? I drove like there were no speed signs, like they were a suggestion, literally. I had this very toxic belief. Oh, wait, that was prismatic. Wrong set. All right, hold on. I had this very toxic belief that you could drive however you wanted as long as no one caught you. That was my belief. So as long as no one caught you, it didn't matter. What a crazy belief. All right. I got caught for the first time driving 80 miles an hour in a 40-mile-an-hour zone, double fine zone, at 4 a.m. at night on an empty road. I was just going as fast as I wanted because there's no one on the road. It's like, who cares? The guy who caught me was a cop driving on the opposite side of the road. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I was just perusing around. How about you guys? Have you guys ever had a really bad ticket before? What's the most dangerous thing you ever did on the road? There we go. All right. Now, wait a second. It says we have 28 viewers. Is that true? We don't have 28 viewers, do we? That can't be true. Is it really 28? Man, that's nothing. Did we really just lose half our viewership? That doesn't make any sense to me. Usually as the night goes on, we slightly gain viewers. Let me see. That can't be accurate. I wonder if that's the YouTube watch count. It says we have 27 viewers. Sign in if you're a viewer. Say something. I don't think that's accurate. I mean, look, we got a nice order ahead of us. That's got to be inaccurate. 27 viewers is nothing. Look, it says 24 now. I don't think that's accurate. I think that's the watch count being weird again. We are? Crazy. That can't be accurate. All right, you ready? All right, let's grab this. Mr. Carter, you ready? Did you guys see the new emojis? We have Santa Mahi, I believe, and Fat Santa. Hello, mister. Hope you had a good day. Who's here? Sign in if you're here. That number does not look accurate. 27 viewers on a Thursday night with a nice ordering queue. I don't know. I wonder if eventually we go down to 0. We are. Meaning that the watch count just ticks down and not up. Because we've seen that before. That's happened before. Snipping this. Let's see. If you're here, say something in the live chat. That was my signature move when I was younger. What was your signature move? Use a snip here. Try live streaming on WN simultaneously, please. What's WN? There we go. Your brakes would flourish over there. They love that kind of stuff. There we go. All right. On Whatnot? No, I'm not doing Whatnot. No way, dude. There we go. I don't like Whatnot. I feel like Whatnot's kind of yucky. There we go. 24 viewers. All right, what we got here? We've got... I'm just going to keep going. Here's Harlequin Archeops. Like nothing has changed. Here's Purloin Basculin. Yeah, you usually don't just suddenly lose half your viewers or more than that in a matter of like a minute or two. That's got to be a watch count issue. Jellicent. Here's Basculin. Lovely Basculin. Here's Deerling Gothita. Look at that Gothita. Very nice. Okay. Very good. Here's Ignition Energy Chandelure. Tool Scrapper Terrakion. Patrat Zoroark Samurott. Heatmore Scrafty Tornadus. Lipard Archon. Look at this Archon. I say you ask AI. There you go. I think they take like 10% of your sales. I'll never stream on Whatnot. I'm sorry, but I just don't like the feeling of the platform anyways. There we go. Okay. Tossing this over here. Look, now we're up to 36. Deerling Levany Keldeo. Ooh, Keldeo. Now we have an order from Lampet Oshawott Samurott. Now we got a booster pack that says Haunter Meloetta Palmot. We've dipped into the Phantasmal Flames now. By the way, this was a sizable order. If you guys didn't know, this order was $230. Look, now we were at 24, and now we've jumped to 41. Man, YouTube watch count's killing me, dude. It's definitely a broken watch count. You don't just suddenly lose, you don't lose half of your viewers and then gain them back instantly either. That doesn't make any sense. Here's Sandile Wigglytuff Flagon. Here's Gligar Pillow-Swine Ambipom. Yeah, we had like 50-something viewers like a second ago. Here's my Miss Magius. I drove on the clear turn lane and cut off the front car on red lights. I drove on the clear turn lane and cut off the front car on red lights. What? I don't know if I understand the logistics of what you just said. Here's Vibrava Nimble. Oh, no, this round better produce a hot pull for you, Mr. Carter. I want to see you get a hot pull out of here. Oh, I like this one. The Duraludon is actually a Shinji Kanda, and the reverse hollow version of it might definitely be worth grading. Cool. Okay. He's such a cool artist. Here's Lockix Smeargle Fire Breather. My God, you get Fire Breather. Look at that! We're up to 48 viewers now. That's double what we just had like a minute ago. That is the YouTube watch count messing with us. It does this. I don't know why it does that. I saw the number and I said, are we really only got 24 viewers? That's crazy. I mean, it's a slower night. I can tell it's a slower night because we've had like a little above 50 viewers most of the night. And normally we're hitting like 70 viewers a night. So it was a little bit slower than usual. But I was comparing us to some other metrics, and it looked like across the board, views are down for Pokemon live streaming. But yeah, I was really shocked when it hit 24. I was like, what is going on here? Fire Breather is actually a chunky Magmar. Do you have the rare Charizard from Phantasmal Flames? Yeah, actually, we're hosting a break on the Inferno X version of that card, but I don't have the English version yet. Here's Duraludon, Nimble, Miss Magus, Mega Deontay, Keldeo, Archon, Gothita, Basculin. So lots of ARs in this round. And I feel like the Duraludon is actually a nice reverse hollow pull from this set. He's a top reverse hollow pull just because all of the Shinji Kanda cards are getting real popular these days. You pull Fire Breather as an SR, but man, I don't know. Fire Breather, he's a Gaifu. It is cool, man. These are neat. Okay, Mr. Carter, maybe better luck next time. I think we're really low on the white flare cards. Okay. Pop these in here. And that's a lot of hollows. Mamma mia. Carter, you're going to have 2 bags now, okay? Like in traffic, when I saw a clear turn lane on the right, and the light was red, I would drive and time it to the light turning green to go straight and just cut off all the traffic. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay, so it's an aggressive driving tactic where there's a line at the stoplight. You're at the back of the line, and you use the turn lane to cut the line. Yeah, people hate it when people do that. You guys know what he's talking about? There's a big line, and you get into an empty lane that's not meant to be used for going straight. It's meant to be used for turning, and you drive up the line and then pop back into the traffic. We used to have an exit onto the highway that had an issue like that, and people did that all the time. They would cut the line. It was a real problem, and people would like honk because they were so annoyed at it. 2 bags? You got 2 bags, bro. Carter Gertson, 2 bags. Lots of hollows. If you ever don't want your hollows, trade them in for a spot in the trade slab. All right, awesome. It's an aggressive driving tactic. I've heard arguments that it makes the traffic move faster, actually. I've heard arguments for that, you know, because you're really just moving into a gap between vehicles. But that really depends on if the vehicle had to slow down to let you in. So it's an interesting conversation. I think people get jealous. Hey, get to the back of the line. Here we are. I never really did that one, actually. I never really cut the line too much. I've sort of done that before. Really, it's more like for construction scenarios where one of the lanes is supposed to be closed. And so everyone's starting to merge over. But I'll keep driving in the open lane, and then I'll get over a little later. I've done stuff like that. I think everyone's done a little bit of that, you know. It's like, why sit in the back of the line? You don't need to. Okay, here's a little Tammy card. I was way worse than that, but that's what I'm comfortable sharing about my youth. What's the worst thing you guys ever did when you were young? This. I drive like an old person. Someone's bound to hit me driving stupidly. Well, you know, there's benefits to driving really safely. You never have to deal with dying in a car crash or killing anyone. I drive really carefully nowadays. I learned that from Coca-Cola. You know, I did a lot of driving for Coca-Cola. And one of the drivers, it was a little Debbie driver, died one day because she was in a car crash with a pedestrian, you know, just a normal person. And they crashed into her because they were driving aggressively, is what I understand. And so I learned a lot from driving around as a job. You learn a lot about, you know, how futile it is to try and save time breaking all the rules. The truth is you don't gain that much time. The only way you gain a lot of time back is if you drive super far distances and speed for a long time. The other way you save time on your drive is if you avoid red lights. Avoiding a red light's a big deal. You can avoid like 3 red lights. You will shave like 10 minutes off your drive. So those are the 2 things that matter. You can speed in an example where you need to drive for like 2 or more hours. Speeding at that point will save some time. It's not super exciting, but you'll save a little bit of time. Or getting through a red light, which is actually pretty important. That's how you get ahead. You get through a red light. Don't get stuck at the red lights. There you go. Got some nicer looking label on those. I'm a defensive driver now. I feel like I actually make it safer for people who are near me. Well, you know, when I realized, look at this. We were at 24 viewers. Now we got 53 viewers. It doesn't make any sense. YouTube watch count treating us very badly. Mr. Kendo Palor, one more Elite Spark Box. All right, you got it, man. By the way, we've got this great Mark slab here. Let's hand out some more spots in it. All right, so we've got Crazy. Crazy KRS. We got number 3. Cactuar Queen. Cactuar Queen. Did you hear about, apparently, Australian intelligence intercepted a group of men heading to Bondi Beach to potentially do a follow-up attack? Here's Monster 03. I have not heard any update on that. And Australian government is coming out saying we're going to further ban more guns. That's Miss Alexandra twice. Look at that. Many people feel like the guns were not the problem this time. Many people felt it was religious extremism. All right. Of course, how do you ban that? The buyback, yeah. So this would be the 6-sided die. Landing on 6, it is going to Miss Alexandra. Oh, how nice. I've heard a few things about the Bondi incident. Yes. Okay. You know, it reminds me of things I've heard in the past, like the Charlie Hebdo attacks or the London bombings and stuff like that. And yet, today, France and UK are some of the most Muslim Islamic countries in all of the West. So I feel like it really doesn't matter. Bondi Beach will be a Muslim mayor in 2 or 3 years. There it is. I feel like there's this guilt that people in the area go through. Like there's this sort of backlash, this anger, this sort of like, you know, they call it Islamophobia. And then after the Islamophobia, there's like a guilt over it. And then they say, you know, we should elect people. Let's see. I want to hear about this follow-up attack. Australia news. PM announces largest gun buyback. Let's see. Reconsider. Cops warn about gatherings. Oh, no. Don't gather in your own country. That's outrageous, man. Here it is. 2 hours ago, 7 men detained in dramatic Sydney arrest. Released. All right, let's see. Let's see. The men were arrested after tactical police rammed the car in Liverpool. They were doing this as a precautionary measure following the Bondi attack. I think it was tipped off to them that it could be that they were planning an act of violence. The actual motive is unknown. Interesting. I'm just reading it real fast. They had traveled from Victoria. Huh, interesting. We weren't going to take any chances. So that's like they're not sure, or it's written like they're not sure. I wonder what their intelligence was actually telling them that made them want to do that. Kendo Pelor. I'll be right back. Mr. Kendo Pelor. All right, so Mr. Kendo, here we have it. Ta-da! There's a large Lebanese Muslim community in the Sydney and Parramatta region. Sure, we are. And there we are. We got 4 of these left. There you go. I'm gonna place these behind me. Happy to see them move. All right. Very nice. We're going to move this over here. Okay. There's a lot of that going on all over the West right now. It's a big topic. It's a big debate. The West is very tolerant. The West is very open-minded. And then something like this happens, and then everyone goes, is this such a great idea? Are we liking this? And it goes on for a while. I don't think the people in New York who witnessed the 9/11 attacks would have predicted Mondani winning the elections, you know, like a generation later. But that's what happened. Actually, he was voted in by a majority female vote. So women really like him, and the guys don't like him. So if it would only been guys voting, he would have lost. He's a female pick. Ladies picked him. Here's a hollow. Yeah, if you look at the voter breakdown, by the way, he would have lost if only the guys were voting. And so that's why I think it's a guilt thing, because I don't think guys feel guilt as often. We're a little crazier. Guys are a little more aggressive. They don't feel as much guilt. Ooh. So you get really mad, and then you feel guilty about it, and then you vote, hey, yo, okay, we're sorry. We like you, actually. There we go. Here's a hollow. Very nice. And here's a hollow. And, you know, people leave that place because they go, it's a bad memory now. So people move out. They go to the countryside. They say, I'm not living there anymore. I'm moving to the countryside. Ooh. All right. What I'm trying to imply is that mass shootings work. That's what I'm trying to imply. They work. You scare the population really effectively. Shooting Charlie Kirk, I think, worked. I was watching Turning Point USA tonight. I was watching that. Karis had it turned on. I walked in the room. She already had it playing. And I thought, wow, this organization's a mess. He's gone, and one guy goes to jail. The shooter, right? One guy goes to jail, and Charlie Kirk is gone. It's a good trade. It's a very good trade for the Democrats. And so violence works. It's crazy. You know, nobody talks about it that way. Everyone condemns it. I hate it. It's bad. You're not allowed to say, oh, thanks for doing that. You know, great job. Although you do run into that on like TikTok comments and stuff like that, right? But yeah, the violence, it works. It's crazy. At Bondi Beach, give it some time, you know. It will change over time, probably. We are. I would predict that just because of everything I've seen over the last, I don't know, 20 years. We are. If you're younger and you haven't watched all of it, you won't agree with me, perhaps, because you haven't watched everything I've seen over the years. But it's been 20 years. There we go. I wanted to travel to Australia and hit up Indonesia and Japan and Korea in the same trip. Redbacks and funnel spiders. Spiders scare the hell out of me. Did anyone see the video of the bald guy with the blood all over his face? They're saying he forgot the script. I don't know what you mean by that one. All right, we'll place this back over here. Mr. Kendo Pelor. Hey, Kendo. Anyways, I'm curious to see how politics change in Australia, if at all. Here it is. There's more fallout happening in Minnesota over the welfare fraud, the Somalian welfare fraud. And what they discovered is that the fraud was so bad, and it was so well known how bad it was. There were people from other states, like there was an example from Philadelphia, that they were traveling to Minnesota to sign up for welfare and then go back to their own state. And so they had found a case where some guy from Philadelphia who runs some, you know, organization over there, he signs up for the welfare in Minnesota, but he receives it in Philadelphia. More welfare fraud, and he took like 25 million or something. It was just some ridiculous amount. There it is. Kendo Pelor. So we're all paying for that. It's horrendous. It's really sad. There it is. I've come across a redback spider once. Let me refresh on this, by the way. All right. Ooh. Put this over here. That's Kendo Pelor. Mr. Kendo. We're going to jump over here. I'm very intrigued by this potential war with Venezuela. It seems like it's not a legal war. And I feel like people are very upset at Donald Trump over it. But I was really reading more into it because I wanted to understand it all. That's one of the things about world news is, you know, the headline breaks, but you got to start like learning about it and reading about it and trying to understand what's going on. There's some things about Venezuela I didn't know. And I'm betting if I didn't know it, you guys probably didn't know it either. When I was young, I remember Hugo Chavez. He was the eccentric, popular communist leader of Venezuela. And what I remember is he was condemned in America because he would call America the devil. And he didn't like us because he was so pro-communism and America was so anti-communism. What I did not know at the time was America had just spent like $40 billion helping Venezuela build up their oil infrastructure. So they had discovered oil in Venezuela, but they didn't have a way to extract it and refine it. We built that for them. We spent like $40 billion many years ago, like 30 years ago. That was a lot more money back then, okay? Not only is that a lot of money, we were expected to make a shared profit with them on that. So it's really closer to like losing 40 billion or 80 billion, plus all the profits that we did not receive. Because what happened, Venezuela, right after we finished building their oil refinery and their oil extraction infrastructure, right after that point, they decided, you know what? Actually, we're communists. And now all this oil belongs to the people. That's what it was. I didn't know that. Venezuela wasn't communist before that point. It was around that point they suddenly realized, oh, actually, we're communists and the oil belongs to the people. Clever. They decided that they didn't owe us anything. Eventually, many years later, Americans were given like a small payback. And I read it was pennies on the dollar of what we had spent. And so that's what that was all about. That's why they joined the ranks of like North Korea and Cuba as sort of like an enemy of the United States. We end up not doing any business with them. We end up sanctioning them. They were like this country that had been communist for a long time, and America was just hell-bent on destroying communism. We had just given them like $40 billion and built their infrastructure, which they could not have built. They didn't have the technology for it. So we did them this big favor. And in return, they were going to sell us oil or share profits from oil with us. That was the agreement, you know, help a smaller country with their infrastructure because we have the technology and the money, we have the capital. But they decided, actually, we're communists and we get to keep all this now. So that was it. And back then, I guess America just didn't want to go to war with Venezuela. We didn't want to do it. Maybe we didn't have the stomach for it. Maybe we were financially, there was no need for it, perhaps. I don't know. You fast forward into the future, and the trouble with sort of backstabbing America that way is you might get a really crazy president one day, and America might want more money all of a sudden. So you might run into a point in time where you have a very angry president who is just a super nasty guy. I mean, Trump's crazy nasty. You guys saw the plaques he put up, right? Like, he's won the presidency, and he's still hounding after Biden and Obama. He's still shit-talking them all this time later. So we've got, like, the sort of crazy type of president, and he's like, guess what? We're getting our money back, finally. And so that's what that's all about. I finally get it. I think it does help that he's, you know, he wants to get rid of the drugs, too. It's not like there were no drugs involved as well. So it's like a double whammy. He gets to stop the drugs, topple a communist regime, and sort of steal back this oil that we had missed out on, like whatever it was, like 30 years ago. Really interesting. He nationalized all that stuff, and we were pissed. Yeah, I didn't know that. I never knew that. See, I was there after Hugo Chavez won, and he was calling America like Satan. That's what he would do. Of course, as a kid, I didn't like that. But nobody really cared because everyone thought, well, Venezuela, they're a small country. That's basically the feeling of it. It's like, well, Venezuela. Mister, for the 151 journey, is it the Pika balloon one? Oh, let me show you. Let's grab a pack of it real fast. So now you know Trump's going after Maduro. So it's this pack right here, 151C. Is how cute. He's going after Maduro because Maduro sends oil to China for cheap. Maduro sends oil to Russia. The group we're fighting. We're fighting Russia. We're in a war with Russia. And Venezuela sends them oil for cheap. So that is how they're helping finance our opponent's war, and they're right next to us. And they're using the oil that they refined, using our oil refineries that we built. And it's just like, damn, bro. The real question is that I have is why didn't we do anything about it back then? Why did we let that stand back then? We should have done something about it when it first occurred. And I think it's just sort of like, I don't know, Americans constantly make the wrong move. We also have no confidence anymore. So I think Trump's goal is to kind of win this war, or whatever you want to call it. It's basically a war, right? It's a de facto war. I think his goal is to win it very decisively and kind of gain the I don't know, the confidence back that we've lost in Afghanistan. And I'm curious if he manages to pull that off or if it becomes a horrible disaster. I'm holding my breath. We are. All right. Very nice. He's doing it very early on in his presidency, so he might be able to get it mostly done. I think that Venezuela's best move is to, you know, really delay and hope that Trump loses the midterm. I think that's got to be the strategy here. All right, we got a Sephiroth. You wrote Psyduck in the menu, so it doesn't have the Psyduck in it. Oh, let's remove that Psyduck then. Thanks for pointing that out, Tammy. I don't know where I got that information. Pokemon Chinese. You can double check it in case I was wrong. I thought there was one in there. So there's a Pikachu in there. He won't pull it off. Remember the last time we were in a jungle, our U.S. troops came home and got spit on. So he's referring to Nam, the Vietnam War, where we're fighting between, you know, the North and South Korea, right? And that turned into a big disaster for us. It was very embarrassing for the United States. Wasted a whole bunch of money, a whole bunch of people dead. Here's the difference, I suspect. I think Trump might actually be a very cruel person. Like, he is not nice. He you know, I think men these days have a very feminine energy to them where they're just like, well, no, we couldn't do that. That would be very mean of us, you know? It's a very sensitive, very sort of like, lots of empathy, lots of like, oh no, we could never be cruel. I think Trump's a little bit like, I don't know, like a giant troll or something, like a goblin. And he really does not care if he does something mean or not. I think he's straight up vicious. And that might actually win. Who knows? It's hard to say. Like the whole boat stuff, he just says, go kill them all. You know, like, we don't care. Just go kill these guys. I could never see any other U.S. president in the last, like, 3 or 4 elections behaving that way. And Trump's just like giddy over it. He's like, yeah, it's great. I love it. Sir, what did you think of them taking a second shot at the boat? Yeah, it's fine. He's like a mafia boss. And it's weird. I think a lot of people don't like, at least half the country doesn't like him. The other country is probably watching him with a bit of trepidation at this point, wondering, where does this go? But it's very curious because, I don't know, maybe it ends up going well. So strange to think, right? Like, so many presidents have not done a well job. I wonder if he would, just because he's so vicious. He's actually so hell-bent on winning, he might be willing to do just about anything. And maybe the Venezuelan leader knows this. Like, Trump's not going to come in and follow any rules. He does just not care. He has one rule, and it's win. So I don't know. I don't know what'll happen. But if America recouped oil that was basically stolen from us anyways, because again, that was our money that we used to develop the refineries in a bargain that we made with them. So if we recoup $40 billion in oil, that's not terrible. I think it sends a really scary message too to anyone who would F around with the United States. Is like, you might get away with it for 20 years. One day, somebody really angry in power is going to come after you. So you'll get your comeuppance one day. So it sends a very scary message. Like, you can get away with it for a little while, but not forever. And then here's the more important thing, though, I feel. If Venezuela becomes a friendly nation and we actually just do, you know, like trade with each other, that's not such a bad thing. You know, you've got South American countries that are developing and kind of doing a good job. And then you got South American countries that sort of don't like the United States and just want to sell us drugs. Honestly, I think if that area develops into like a healthy sort of like society that does capitalism and business, and they build and they manufacture goods and trade and just do all the healthy, normal things, I think that would actually be an extremely good thing for the United States. But maybe that requires having to go after communist leaders like Maduro, who's basically like, I don't know, I hate to say it, but I think he's like pretty much the same as Kim Jong-un. I mean, they've got this sort of super powerful grip on power over there, and they do not care about making sure that the people get the best opportunity for a good life. They just care about holding on to that power. That's it. And so he's like a North Korea type. I think it's also pretty obvious the moment You know, China and Russia say, don't worry, Venezuela, we're on your team. I think that's a pretty clear message of what kind of economics, what kind of market Venezuela was operating in. So they're, you know, they're sort of playing for the other team. Why should we support that? Why should we allow that? They're like in the pool across from us. Why should we allow that to go on? You know? And I think Americans are scared to have to get involved in, you know, sort of like the controversy and the conflict and the military cost. But, or we could just let them keep selling oil to Russia while we give Ukraine money to fight Russia. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. We give all this money to Ukraine to fight Russia, and then Russia's been sanctioned. Meanwhile, Venezuela's giving them oil. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, we should have started with this. Beautiful Oddish, he is the Schedule 3 Oddish break to celebrate weed becoming a Schedule 3 drug. All right, so there's a break. The new trait slab. It's the Recall Slowbro. He's got those eyes like he's from Rick and Morty, doesn't he? Look at that. Very cool card. You don't think of this very often. Nido King. Beautiful Nido King. He's going to take a little while. Cubone. We're waiting for 3 more people in here. Zach Stex is in there. We've got Blasty Boy. 13 out of 23 is complete now. Another person jumped into this break, and so 10 spots remain. Here's Gengar with 9 spots remaining, and the surprisingly slow-moving Mega Charizard with 18 spots. You know, we priced him up like a month ago now, I feel, and maybe part of the problem for the Mega Charizard is the price has fallen or something like that. But we don't follow the price going up or down. Once the price is set for a break, we leave it alone. So the price is set, and eventually he will become the star card. So he will finish one day, you know, regardless of how fast he's moving. All right. You say J.D. Vance dances on, are you saying you saw J.D. Vance's dances on Israel? He smells the wind of change and is pivoting for 2028. No, I have not seen that. By the way, guys, if you're looking to place an order and have a little fun, we have an empty queue right now. Let me check the website, though. I'm going to hit refresh on the website. All right, we do have a Mr. Carter order. Mr. Carter, he's been waiting a little bit, too. He says he'd like 6 of the Black Bolt and 6 of the Destined Rivals. Ooh, I love it. Okay, Destined Rivals, one of my favorite sets. Let me stand up and get these boosters for you, Carter. So 1 box of Black Bolt, 1 box of Destined. I'll be right back. All right, so I have the Destined Rivals. Black Bolt is kind of trapped. I kid you not, Black Bolt is really hard to access right now. You know what happened? Remember the other day I pulled out a case of that Silver Tempest? Well, I just went back to that the stack of old cases, and it tipped over. Not in a real bad way. It's like leaning against a shelf. But pinned in the bottom corner, not the bottom corner, but about halfway, is a case of Black Bolt. I would have to pull the whole thing apart to go and grab it. Let me see if we got a Black Bolt over here. Of course we don't. Let me see if we have 6 in this box, but I bet we don't. That is such bad timing. Yeah, definitely not. So here's the deal. I can go get you one. It's going to take a while for me to unbury it. I probably should, though. Yeah, those boxes tipped over. So they're all tipped. I could send you guys a picture of it. It's kind of crazy looking. It's because I stacked those cases too high, man. Yeah, everything looks fine. I just have to dig it out. It would take a while. So annoying. It's tipped over like gently, but that means I have to remove every single case in order to get them restacked. Website updated. Woo! Nice. Okay, tossing this over here. By the way, you said J.D. Vance's stances on Israel. What did he exactly say? Did he say something new? Toss that over there. All right, Destined Rivals. 6 Destined Rivals for Mr. Carter. And then the Black Bolt. I'm going to go back out there. Man, I have to step away from the stream for a couple minutes. I might be able to get it done. I think if I'm clever, I can get it done quickly. Maybe I can just get the boxes to stand back upright. Okay. Okay. Want me to add the UPC SPC on website, plus other card sets on website too. Ooh, the Ultra Premium collections. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you could add all the items that we have in both menus to the website. So technically, the UPCs can go up there, yeah. Here's Arbok, Wobbuffet. Here's Probo Pass. You know, Tammy, it could get to a point where you could be skilled enough, or tedious, perhaps is the right word. Oh my God, did you guys see this? That was awful. Mr. Carter, that was really rough. He just opened up a whole, right in front of our eyes, a sealed box booster bundle of the Destined Rivals. And it was just one Regirock. Damn, bro. Pokemon cards are so vicious. One Regirock. All right, so I think I need to get out there and I need to go unbury this Black Bolt. I would say there's a difference between not liking Israel and anti-Semitism, Vance said in a reply to his post on X late Monday. Yeah, we are. Well, I think it's true that the United States is not, you know, directly the same country as Israel, right? Like Israel has their interests and we have our interests. And it's certainly very possible for our interests to not align. So I think that maybe because the U.S. gives them so much aid, people just assume that we're like in the pocket of Israel. And maybe that's a concern that J.D. Vance wanted to sort of like calm or something, you know, like say like, no, they do their thing, we do our thing. All right, guys, I am going to go dig out that case of Black Bolt. It is going to take a while. I wish I could bring you with me. I could probably bring you with me for a minute. I mean, I think it would be a bit odd, wouldn't it? If you didn't, oh wait, that's an old message. Bring us with you so we can see. I feel like I shouldn't. For security reasons, I think I won't. All right, I'll be right back, guys. So give me about a minute or two. I'll try to get it done fast. We'll see how fast I can move. All right. That wasn't so bad. I'm back. Boom. Black Bolt. Okay. Whew. Man, I was lifting like 20 cases as fast as I could. There we go. Very nice. Those cases need restacking. They need to be stacked over a wider area. It's too tall of a stack. It's like this skinny, tall stack. Okay, good. All right, so that's 6 of the English Black Bolt for Mr. Carter. Thanks, Carter. Mr. Carter, he's a big buyer tonight, guys. He's keeping us busy. All right, we're going to snip this. I'm going to snip this. I have this uncomfortable feeling with J.D. Vance. I feel like he is, if he wins the presidency, it's going to be by a slim margin. It is. Good. Ready? Okay. So here's Servine. Here's Croc-a-Rock. Here's Clink, Haxorus. Dyramacalandrus Genesect. Ooh. What's crazy is I don't think the Democrats have anyone super good either. They've got like Gavin Newsom. I think he's their best shot. Here's Excadrill. After that, I don't know who runs. And here's Simipour. Ooh. They're going to have to start working on building up some new names, you know, building up some new brands. It's all a brand, isn't it? Peter Thiel is his best buddy. I don't know Peter Thiel. Pork chops. Mr. So Strong. Yeah, I'm strong as hell, bro. I lift Pokemon boxes, bro. So you get a Simipour, and at least the Genesect's an actual SR in this box. I mean, this box is slightly better than the other two. However, Mr. Carter, no Super Snipes. No Mega Snipes. I'm sorry. Beast Mod. They say if you swap the letters around in Peter Thiel, it's Reptile. There we go. Ugh. The Republican Party has become really focused on not liking Israel, I noticed. What is going on? We're still connected, right? No problem with the connection? Let's jump over here. That's the Palantir dude. Oh, Palantir. Let's see, we're going to span that. All right, who's next? Click. We have Mr. Oh. I think we have to hit refresh. Refresh. Okay, we're clicking on this. Isaac Thomas. Can you pre-grade my Trump card? Yes, sir. Let me do that for you. Okay, Mr. Isaac. Ugh. Isaac Thomas. Is it in this bag? I don't know which bag it's in. Let's see. Did you already send it off to grade, perhaps? Okay, it's definitely not in this bag. What are the subjects that are most important to you guys? It is. Aha, there he is. Found him. Okay. Trump! So these come out of our Playboy cards. They're $10 a pack. He's not considered a rare card here. This is more like a common pull. There is a rainbow version of this card, and that's very rare. No one's pulled it, in fact. So immediately, when we're taking a look at the card, you can see thin on the right. Okay? The card actually looks really nice. Okay. Back corner over there. I'm anticipating an 8 or a 7 on this card. I'm going to give it an 8. I think it looks really nice. Education. Hey, teachers. Teach those kids a lot. All in all, you're just a kid who went to school. Hey, teacher, teach those kids the things I want them to know. All right. Very good. Very good. Well, I know the number one thing I want, an expansion of the welfare state and as much foreign aid as possible. That's my big vote. If we could just give all our money away, that'd be perfect. All right. Let me hit refresh. Standardized testing. How do I get to the store? Hey, what's up, Mr. Thomas Palmer? Thomas, there's 2 ways to get to that store. If you check out the live chat, you'll notice there's a link to the website. That's one option. Or you can purchase things through the live description, which is the old style of buying things over here. It still works. So I'll just show you how to get to that description real fast. If we could just give all our money away, that'd be perfect. My biggest policy in the upcoming, the next elections, probably if we could import 80,000 more people from Somalia, that would be perfect. So here we have this. So we need to open the description, right, guys? Let's close that and click on more and more. And there we have it. So we got the description. Sometimes you have to access the description by clicking on 3 little dots in the upper right-hand corner. But here's all the stuff. It talks about Slab away down there, social media links. Up here, it talks about how to order. It says, choose your item from the menu. Pay using your preferred method. Leave a message. This is a live rip and ship. We remove the bulk. Slab prices appear on camera or in Discord. Some numbered slabs are break. Here's our payment options. We got the website. We got PayPal. We got ZELLE. We got Venmo. We got CASHAPP. We got Wise. Ask for a crypto address. Here's our USDC address. Shipping is $9 in the United States. Here's a buyer agreement. Here's a secret menu full of more stuff. And then here's all our stuff for sale. It's a huge menu, actually. We have a broad variety of cards. Okay. Let's see. National fitness. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, the obesity epidemic. I'm fat. Who here is not fat? I think a lot of people are dealing with ultra-processed food, microplastic. Actually, health is a good one. Health is a topic that everyone agrees with. If you had a president run and he said, I'm the president that's going to get everybody healthy, I think that's a very strong message. I am underweight. Let's see. Underweight. She means underweight. I missed it. Are you not showing us your inventory anymore? No. I'm not showing off the inventory room. It's a nice room. Number one issue is affordability. No young person's going to be happy until things are affordable. Yeah, that's a good one. So affordability, how do you lower it? Well, I'd say one really obvious answer to that question is stop giving all our money away. Easiest answer ever. Like the welfare frauds in Minnesota is insane. I can't believe how bad that looks. It is. And I think it shows people the scope of how bad it can be. These programs are abused by people who just got here yesterday. It's exactly like the hotel issue in New York. All these homeless Americans who were born here, who have been here for generations, and they're struggling with affordability. In the meanwhile, they're just handing out free hotel rooms to people who got here yesterday. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. That will never be popular. It's such a bad idea. It's Mr. Jimmy. And so affordability is a big, I would say that is a big issue. Yeah, the affordability is, it's funny though, we call it affordability. In the past, I think it was just called economics. People want a strong economy. But you have to call it affordability because The economy can be in this big bubble where it looks like everything's grand. Don't worry, the investors are still doing very well. So when people say affordability, they don't just mean the economy. They mean what happened to being able to afford a home? What happened to being able to afford a car? What happened to being able to afford a degree? You can't go to your own elite colleges in your own country. They're all full of, rich kids from like, I don't know, like China or something. So you're kicked out. You're not allowed in. No, you can go to the community college and barely afford it on a student loan, while billionaires from other countries fill up your elite colleges, and then they go back home afterwards. So we're teaching them how to beat us. And people are, or you want to get a job in computer science. Well, too bad. We imported a bunch of workers from another country to do the computer science jobs for half the pay. So Americans are really tired of those ideas, both Democrats and Republicans. Those are subjects that we weirdly find common ground in, just wanting to have, hey, what about us? Doesn't our government exist to serve us? Why does it serve the special interest groups? Why does it serve the corporations? Why does it serve the NGOs and, maybe foreign billionaires or something? It's a frustrating feeling. It gives you a sense that you don't live in a country. You just live in a faceless economic zone, like it's a terrible feeling. What made you change your mind? You showed us all the shelves and stuff the other day. Just curious. In general, I don't like to show that off too much. So you got a glimpse of it. All right, let's see. Prepare yourself for UBI, TCC. You never know. Maybe we will have UBI. I think that that's a bit more of a glass half full fantasy. When a lot of money is made, do you think that the people who made it are just going to want to give it away? So the American people can vote for it to be taken away. I don't know how effective that's going to be. I don't know how that'll work. I actually am not super confident in democracy anymore. I was born praising democracy my whole life. Everyone told me, praise democracy, 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 democracy. Okay, so explain China. They're not a democracy. They got cheap EV cars. They don't waste their money on foreign wars. They don't import a bunch of poor people and pay for poor people. They build advanced websites. They build advanced technology. They made TikTok. I love TikTok. It's great. They built it. They're an authoritarian state. And people talk about how shit it is all the time. They're like, it's so bad. All right, explain Hong Kong. Explain these nice cities, these futuristic cities that we don't have, that they have. So I'm not so thoroughly convinced that the democracy alone was the success of the American people. I actually think it was the work ethic, and I think it was a sort of financial conservatism, and I think it was common sense laws. And in a sort of like a thought game, in a simulation, you can create a scenario where you're living on an island with a bunch of idiots, essentially really stupid people, and it's a democracy, and it just crumbles and falls apart because it's a democracy ran by a bunch of idiots. And then have a separate island to the side, and it's got a strong leader, it's got an authoritarian leader, but he's brilliantly intelligent, and so that island does really well because he just forces it to do well. So democracy to me is maybe a good idea, but I think it depends on the scenario, who's actually voting. And so that's really important. And that's why the founding fathers founded America without the right to vote for everybody, because they didn't believe in it either. So maybe they already knew. But that's where we are today. We keep expanding who votes. And it's a terrible, terrible experiment over time, it seems. We were set up as a democratic republic, right? And they had a rule that you had to be a landowner because they wanted you to be invested into the country before you were allowed to vote. We don't have anything like that now. We don't have anything. We can't even get voter ID. Everyone fights against voter ID now. They're like, nah, no way. That's too much for people to have an ID to vote. Like, what? That's crazy to me. But so, I guess being a landowner today would look more like, do you pay taxes? No, then don't vote. If you don't pay any taxes at all, I already know what you're voting for. You're voting for whoever's handing out the free stuff. And it just doesn't make any sense. You don't pay into the system, but you get to vote on the system. Well, how does that make any sense? You're not a contributor to the system, but you get to decide how the money is spent. So America could never pass a law like that today. Could never pass a law that says People who do not work don't get to vote. They could never pass that law. And that's how I know that the democracy is far gone. You know, the power of the vote already is too lopsided, so that the people who actually cause money to be made don't have the power to decide what to do with that money. It's already gone. It's over. So I have very strong negative feelings toward perhaps a blind worship of the idea of democracy, and I question the intelligence, the total intelligence of the American people. So I don't know about it. I think America's got some really brilliant, hardworking, aggressive, and passionate people, conservative types, people who care about doing the right thing, people who care about cleanliness and organization and family. I think America's got a lot of corners, pockets in it where people are struggling very badly. I mean, look into any inner city. I used to live in St. Louis, so I've seen it, firsthand, just failed neighborhoods, failed communities, full of drugs, full of gang wars, full of like abused children, and just lots of problems. I guess I was an abused child. So, it's a struggle. Every country is a struggle, but I worry that democracy is actually not going to be a solution for what comes next as time goes by. But who knows? I mean, technology is a great disruptor, so we'll find out. China's got its own problems too. And what happens after Xi Jinping? So imagine Xi Jinping is gone finally. Maybe China gets a new leader, and he's more like the North Korean leader. He's not so nice. So you don't know. There's downsides to maybe like a strong, authoritarian regime too. You get the wrong guy, and then you're toast. Joshua Ramos, one live custom, one Pokey Shuffle. You got it, Mr. Joshua Ramos. All right. So we're on a rambly rant, precisely because there were no orders in the queue on this fine Thursday night. Wait, is it Thursday night? Yes, Thursday night. We've never been, nor are we now, a democracy. Here we go. Let me go ahead and do this. 1, 2, 3. All right. Boop. All right, that's Joltik coming out of the Pokey Shuffles for Joshua Ramos. Let's try those live customs. Does that mean the 14 to 17-year-olds that work and pay taxes get to vote, but the 18-year-olds who are disabled and can't work are unable to vote? Perhaps. Think about it. Perhaps. I mean, the person who is not voting is disconnected from contributing anything to society. And the question is, who should decide what happens to the money? Well, perhaps the people who are generating the money. That's not such a crazy idea, because I know you're trying to find like the most egregious example where that might seem unfair. Well, what about the 0.01% of people who are disabled? It's like, yeah, I guess that's an exception, but the majority of people can work and earn money. And increasingly in democracies, what you see most of all is people deciding they should be granted free stuff. And I find that, whoa, I find that before you vote for that, before you vote for the free stuff, you should have to go have a job too, okay? That's not a crazy idea. That's actually how the world ran for most of its existence. It's only most recently that the world is saying there should be a disconnect from who earns the money and who decides how to spend it. And it's been tried. It usually ends with the money being wasted and overspent, which is true in America. We have some 40-something trillion dollars of debt. Ha-ha! I like it. You pulled Team Rocket's Houndoom. That's for Joshua Ramos. So, Josh, we can re-roll this, or you can keep it. What do you think? Good morning. Hey, what's up, Andy Man? Mister, are you feeling the holiday spirit? I am. I am actually feeling the holiday spirit. I love Christmas. It's a great holiday. It always has been. And I like the cold. If you're living in a hot place, I don't think you feel Christmas if you're living in a place with no snow. You need to live in the cold. We got our Christmas tree, we got the lights, I got presents I got to wrap, and hopefully we successfully have a kid in the future, and that kid's going to get pretty much smothered in. It's going to be a spoiled kid, okay, guys? I'm not going to lie. All right, Mr. Joshua, you pull a lovely Team Rocket's Houndoom for $25. Do you keep it or do you re-roll it? Share the cheer. Tomorrow's my birthday. Your birthday's tomorrow? Gotta toss this up. Oh, wait. He hasn't said if he wants to keep it. Put this here. We'll pop this up there. All right, very nice. All right. Ooh. We're going to go ahead and write his name on it. He's not answering. So by default, we just assume he wants to keep it. Joshua. Ramos. Let's see. What about military personnel who served the country and came back disabled? You know, it's interesting. Karis, she talks about this subject with me too, about the subject of who should be voting and how. And she and I were talking about that because it seems like if you chose to become a soldier and potentially get disabled or badly injured or suffer psychological distress or whatever because you had to go out and actually get shot at, it almost seems like that person has done something for the country that is more valuable than, let's say, sitting on your hands in college. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is you might be doing. Maybe nothing. Maybe you just live in mom and dad's basement. And so we were talking about how maybe if you're a military soldier, you should actually get 2 votes. How crazy would that be? Is that a radical idea? You know, it's funny what we call radical ideas these days, but it's like, try to imagine if you're just playing a video game. How crazy would it be that people who actually serve in the military get 2 votes? That they get more influence in the country that they signed up to be a patriot for, you know? I don't think that's crazy because the military soldier signs up to die, and the guy who hates the military and hates the country and he just gets a job at, I don't know, Starbucks, and he goes to school for like, I don't know, like learning communism or something, he gets the same vote as the soldier who keeps the country together. The soldier does perhaps one of the most necessary jobs, which is he gives the country power. Violence is power. And the guy who just kind of lives off a mommy daddy trust fund, he doesn't do anything. He's non-essential in a certain way. That guy gets the same voting power as the soldier who's being shot at. So it's very strange. So it's funny that you would bring that up because my perspective on the soldiers is perhaps soldiers should get 2 votes. And that wouldn't be like a huge section of the population, but I would not be against that idea. I think that that would make a lot of sense because they have the most to risk. You know, if you're in the military and the next leader of the country might be deciding if you go off and die for a meaningless war, maybe since you're in that military, you should get to vote double for that. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to somebody who's not doing anything. That, you know, you might think that's, I don't know, like a radical idea or a crazy idea. It doesn't sound that crazy to me. Maybe it doesn't have to be 1 vote, 2 votes. Maybe it's a point system. I don't know. Maybe everyone starts by default with 10 points, and your points go toward, you know, influencing who the leader is. Then if you're a taxpayer, maybe your points go up to 50. Maybe if you're a military soldier, your points go up to 100. You know, something like that. It's an interesting concept, at least. But it never made sense to me that maybe like somebody's retired grandma who never lifted a finger has the same voting power as a young man being sent off to war. And she's like, send him off. You know what I mean? Like, this guy should have more say in what happens to him than the lady who never lifted a finger and is living on her husband's retirement or something like that. Do you see what I'm saying? So maybe there should be some sort of way to interpret who's contributing the most to the society, and soldiers would actually rank higher in that system. Whether or not you vote should be based on contribution to society. So Isaac is basically just repeating what I was saying. It's like maybe contribution is actually a very important way to decide how the leadership is chosen, because there are some really clueless people who have never really been exposed to anything other than maybe mom and dad's basement, or maybe just to like going to university and reading a book. And then they think that now they know how the world is ran because they read a bunch of books, but they've never applied anything in the book because they've just stayed within the halls of that very careful university that's protected by soldiers. You know, people lacking real world experience, or perhaps people who have too much influence because they inherited money or something like that. You know, these concepts of who has power and who doesn't have power. It's a very fascinating concept, but I think most people would agree taxpayers who can, they actually pay taxes, they immediately seem more eligible to vote than somebody who intentionally doesn't pay taxes. Soldiers seem more eligible to vote than the rest of the population. You know, I think that was the conversation in that Starships Troopers story. So that was a story that talked about that subject. Well, guys, it's 5:01, and we have no orders in the queue. Thomas says perhaps 1 vote per household. Maybe. Miss Tammy says, is the line clear? It sure is, Tammy. Would you like to do something? I'm too smart to vote, says Piasu. Let's see. Want to double check my work on the website? I do. Let's check out the website. Tammy's been working on the website, and I bet she's done an incredibly good job, guys. I'm going to hit refresh first of all. And then on the landing page, I see Prismatic Evolutions is the top popular thing that people buy. So I'm going to click on that. It says EN Prismatic Evolutions. So now in the title, it says EN, which helps you know it's English. And related products. Cool. Let's try adding this to the cart. EN Prismatic has been added to your cart. Nice. Is there anything specific you'd like me to see? Let's see all. All right, so it looks like it puts about 10, 12 items per page, and there's 11 pages. Are there more than 11 pages? Oh my God, there's 11 pages. Sort by popularity, sort by latest. Let's sort by latest. Cool. Oh, cool. Okay, so I see the Ultra Premium collections are going up. Sea and Sky did not load a picture. And English Pokemon Ultra Premium Collection. Oh, there we go. Okay, it tried to load pictures for those, but it says that the picture is broken. So that might be looked into. So this is under latest, everybody. Oh, pretty cool, huh? Tammy's been working on this. Pretty neat. So yeah, Lucario. Look at this. So we got these Merlin stickers. Okay, so for this one, the pictures have been swapped. The blue picture needs to come down here, and the red picture needs to come down here. So this is Series 1, and this one's Series 2. So these are misaligned. But it looks really nice. Look at that, top Series 1. Very good. Korean Lost Abyss, 250. Wow. Pretty good, Tammy. Tammy goes, God damn it. It's really close. It looks really nice. You know, when the website has all of the same packs that the YouTube live menu has, I think that that's actually a pretty cool thing. I'm wondering if there would also be a way. See, I think this would take coding from Karis. I think it would be interesting to be able to view the website differently, like to view everything in a list, or to be able to search. Are we able to search? Let's go to all. The search button should be lower down the menu. Yeah, the search menu should be lower down the menu. Are we still taking orders? I just got off work. Yes, Miss Sarah, I'd be happy to take a Sarah order. I'll sit back here and wait, and we can keep talking about blah, 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 this and blah, 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 that. Here is Ancient Origins. Do you guys enjoy our conversations? Sometimes we talk about subjects that are a little grown up and maybe a little boring. Here's Snavy. That's Jimmy Therese. All right. I happen to like our conversations. We are. We talk a lot about the things going on in the world. For example, we talked about the Venezuelan war that seems to be starting. Here it is. Okay. Today, weed got recategorized as Schedule 3, which is not as big of a deal as its original ranking as Schedule 1, which is the same as like heroin. And we have this beautiful oddish break. It's a 1 in 4 odds. You can see what we've done here is we've said 12, 18, 25, Schedule 3. So this is a celebration of Schedule 3. We had one of these in the daytime stream, and it finished like that. So here's a second one for the nighttime stream, but I actually forgot about it and started it a bit later. All right, so here's the Snivy. I bring it the adult conversations around this time, Adult Swim. There is a search option. I feel like the search option should be lowered down and closer to the product. There it is. You can make a system where the people who have a stake in the game get to vote on certain issues. Yeah, actually, that's a fascinating concept too. So this concept that, you know, it's broken down into tiers and stuff like that. Because everyone doesn't vote on every subject. Some people care about some subjects more than others. It is. There's Snivy. All right. Very nice. Let's see. Venezuela has the most M's World and M's Universe winners. What? M's? Oh, Miss World and Miss Universe winners. Does it really? Moving the search button would need Karis's coding skills. Yes, I bet Karis would do that for us. Here it is. Ooh. Fubuki. Very nice. Maybe have a litmus test on the issue that people vote on. Now, see, I mentioned that too. What if every vote started with the small IQ test or something like, not an IQ test, I shouldn't call it that, but like you have to solve a simple puzzle before you can vote. And because it basically checks to see if you are even alive. You know what I mean? Because there are probably people who are barely functioning and they come in and vote. And look, I'm not trying to beat up on people if their cognition has declined or if they never had it very far. But it's like, there is a sort of sense that they're not truly voting. They're being led in to vote. You know what I mean? Somebody leads them in and says, here, vote on this subject this way. Here it is. All right. I don't know how many people that would remove, but let me ask you this. If you're against that idea of a small intelligence test that forces you to solve a very simple problem, it doesn't have to be complicated either. It could be simple, like rotate this cube or something like that. Even just a small thing. If you're against the smallest of intelligence tests, what does that say about who you believe is voting for your people? You know, if you're against that, you're scared that you're going to lose a vote from somebody who's completely mentally incapable. And so I think that it would be inconvenient and it would make voting slower, but I think it would probably improve the quality of the vote. Here's for Bravo, because the question becomes, do you really want people like that voting? You know, for either party. And so I can proudly and easily say, hell no, dude. No, we don't want that. We want people who are completely here mentally voting, people who are mentally sharp, even to even the slightest degree. Here it is. All right. Okay. But again, these ideas might come off as sort of like radical or crazy or, oh, you're fascist or, oh, that's horrible. People throw that word fascist around for anything now. And it's like, these are common sense ideas. They're not radical at all. And we've gotten very used to a certain perspective on voting and the choosing of leaders. But, you know, this is all pertaining to the subject of democracy, which I've, over the years, gotten a very sour perspective of. My view of democracy has really gone down over time, really significantly. Maybe it'd be better if people who have been on unemployment benefits for a certain amount. Carter says, I'm done. All right, sounds good, Mr. Carter. Carter, I really appreciate your orders tonight. I'm going to give you a bonus, Mr. Carter. Let me get you a bonus card, man. Carter went real deep for us. That doesn't sound right. Carter, why don't I give you... Oh, I'm going to give you a free booster pack. One of these. I'm going to give Carter 2 free booster packs. So, I'm going to give you a Mega Dream and a Lost Abyss Japanese. And here are the rules. You can't open these until they're home to you, okay? So these are just a gift. I know you had pulls tonight that were kind of tough. Maybe Mega Dream Gengar pops out, or Lost Abyss Gengar, or Lost Abyss Giratina, which is a really good card. So I appreciate it, man. You went really deep tonight. I'm going to put you on the second chance slab too, okay? What you think about... What? Nothing. All right. Nothing. All right. Carter, I'm putting you on this bonus card as well. Someday this will go off. Carter Quartzen. So you're spot number 14, Mr. Carter. Thank you so much, man. Okay. Some freshly priced up consignment slabs. They were basically just lowering the prices slightly on them. And so they're more enticing now, right? You're all enticed by them. Everyone here is very enticed. Mister, I bought the Moltres box. Oh. So you're saying you're doing one more. Is that what you're saying? You're doing a last one of the night? Okay, let's see. Oh, one premium Rocket Moltres collection. Okay, very good. And then over here is Miss Sarah. Let me see who goes first. I think we might do yours first, Mr. Carter, because I think yours will be done first. Okay, so here's Sarah. Actually, you do go first. You ordered before her. You're going to hate me. May I please get the Japanese Poke Jumbo break? 2 spots for the OP box break. Okay, and 5 Phantasmal and 1 box of EB3. All right, so now we know everything you want. Let's go get the Moltres box first. I'll be right back. 2 big orders right at the end of the night. All right, so this ends. This is the last one. Here we go. From that sealed case. So we'll have to reassess the price after this point, because after the next case sells, we'll have to do a restock. All right. The last one. Cannot find this in Canada. Oh, Canada. Meow, 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 meow. Okay. It's actually much easier to just put this in my lap, to be honest. All right. 1 and 2. And why don't I give you this little fire coin? Like that. Okay. Some people don't want the fire coin. It can go in your bag. Unfortunately, it's not a very special coin. It doesn't feature like Moltres on it. I think that's a big mistake. They should have put like Moltres on it. So people don't always ask for the coin. All right. We have sold like 8 of these now. It's surprisingly popular, but now it is paused. Don't try to buy one. We have to take a look at the price changes on it over time, because we're going to have to restock. All right. Set that over there. To be honest, I don't think I really made any money on these. I think I paid just about $300 for these, and I'm selling them for $295 plus PayPal fees, you know. Oh, no, wait. Before we do this, let's get these promos out. But I didn't want to miss out on giving you guys a chance to collect these Moltresses. Okay. All right. Set that there. Very nice. Here's Destined Rivals Moltres. I sleeve the coins. What is the slab with the flower on top? Cannot find this in Canada. Scalped everywhere. Yeah. The break with the flower on top, that's a weed flower, I guess, or a weed leaf. I'm just very bad at drawing. And this is a signature slab. It says 12/18/25, Schedule 3, and then we put my signature on it. So it's kind of like a timestamp, you know, it's kind of like a memory card, okay? We do this sometimes for holidays or for like 420. We grade Audishes because he's the weed Pokemon. That's what the Pokédex calls him, the weed Pokemon. What is this music, bro? So he's the weed Pokemon, and he's a 1 in 4 break with $35 per spot. There it is. He's a very good vintage card. 2004 Oddish Hidden Legends. Hidden Legends is vintage, and it's from the Gold Star era. So this is a particularly nice Oddish. Sometimes the Oddish we get for the 420 breaks are not as good. So people are celebrating today marijuana finally being changed at the federal level. Ironically, under conservative President Trump. You'd think they would have done it under Democrat leadership, because it seems like they could have. They just didn't for some reason. I don't get it. Is this whole song going to be singing? Skip. Atari? Okay. I'm getting 2 spots in that. John, I need that stuff. You drew a Magic Black Lotus. Yeah, did I? That's funny. I don't know what I was drawing. I don't draw marijuana weed leaves very often, so I'm very bad at it. Yeah, I suppose it looks more like a flower, doesn't it? But we hosted that Oddish in the daytime stream, and he sold like instantly. Just 2 guys bought all the spots, and it was over super fast. And so I'm hosting it again tonight, and we haven't increased the price. We're just going to do the same price. And when I created it, no one jumped in, but we kind of created it later in the stream. We created it like halfway through. All right, there we go. So, Mr. Carter, I hope you have much better luck in here than your other packs. Please enjoy that Mega Dream booster pack that you got for free, and the Lost Abyss pack you got for free. Together, those probably have a value. That's probably like $21 or something, or 20 bucks. But, you know, if you pull like the chase card out of those, they're worth a lot more than that. All right, now, what are we getting here? 1 person, so it's a 1v1. Someone get 2 spots. It'll be fun. Here it is. Here's some of these. Here it is. And here's this. Here's the Twilight Masquerade. You can even buy it outright. I mean, the card is correctly priced. I think it's like 140, and the cheapest one for sale right now is $70 for a PSA 9. So we just took the 9 and doubled it and came up with 140. Snipping this and snipping these. Okay. But it's a fun little signature card, and again, it's a memory. So when you pull it out of your collection, you can be like, this was signed on the day that we became Schedule 3. In America, that basically means that they're calling weed a not-so-scary drug anymore. Weed used to be compared... So on Schedule 1, weed was compared to like meth and heroin. Schedule 3, it's similar to like steroids. So they've way lowered the penalty, in a sense, of using weed at the federal level. There it is. Okay. I think Trump was actually mentioning that he has friends who are going through illnesses, and they smoke weed to help relieve the pain. Really interesting. Here's Survival Brace. Okay. Wonder who he could have been referring to. Schedule 1 is a great game. What? Just draw a Buckeye leaf. Here's Rude. How rude. This is Twilight Masquerade. We're pulling Hansel and Gretel. Hassel. Here's Journey Together. You gotta say Journey, like you mean it. Here's Zacian being pulled. Next up, we got Surging Sparks. That's a chance for the Crown Pikachu. Okay, Surging Sparks. We got Shellos Gastrodon. Here's Mischief Chingling. Journey Together is going to give us Iono's Wattrell, finally. Okay, so we got a pull. Here's a nice looking AR in English. Now, if we could just keep that going, that'd be great. Here we are. Here's Twilight Masquerade. We got something? Nah. I like this Snorlax, though. That's cool. I didn't know that was in Twilight. So that's a cute Snorlax. Here's Gray Ninja. There's a game called Schedule 1 where you basically are a drug lord. Really? Here's Mega Evolution. Ooh, nice. Mega Lucario SR. Nice. Here's Twilight Masquerade. We got Brute Bonnet. All right, so this round's a little nicer than the ones Mr. Mark has had, at least. We got Applin. Here's... oh, what's behind this Donphin? Oh, Palo Sand. All right. Yeah, hold your breath sometimes. Baron smokes blunts while trading crypto for sure. You never know. He's a young man. He might be having some fun. All right. Long as he doesn't turn out like Rob Reiner. Wait, is it Rob Reiner? What's the no, Rob Reiner's son, is that right? Okay, let's see. Boy, that's a crazy story, isn't it? Apparently that guy would get high and go on like, you know, drug-fueled rages or something like that, where he said himself in an interview that he would get high and then tear up his own home. Crazy. Here's Lechonk. Here's Whalmer Lycanroc. All right, look at that. You know what's so crazy about that story is how sort of relatable it is? Because Karis's half-brother had... I told you guys this story. Her half-brother has a serious drug issue, and there was this time where her parents were scared he was going to attack them. It is Blaziken. And then he ended up jumping off a bridge to off himself, and he seriously damaged his leg. Instead, he survived the fall. Then he went to jail for threatening to light a gas station on fire. So, yeah, people get... their whole personalities change on drugs. And then, you know, when you're around that and you watch it occur, your perspective on drugs get a little sharper. You're like, hey, that stuff's not good. Kilowattrell, Lycanroc, and Mega Lucario. Not bad, actually. So your supporting cards are a little bit better than what we've seen Mr. Mark grab. And then we've got your stamped cards. We've got Team Rocket Moltres, Team Rocket Moltres, Team Rocket Moltres. It's definitely a Moltres box. Thanks, Mr. I'm in bed now. Sweet! Should I still put up the UPCs that require the buyer to ask for price? That's a good question. It could say price on request, you go. I suppose you could. I mean, we have it in the YouTube menu. That is a good question. Okay, Mr. Carter, the man with 2 bags. How'd you feel about that round, Carter? You know, what's curious about these UPCs is you definitely walk away with something because you walk away with these stamped promos. So no matter what, you're getting something. I can leave it not priced and leave it in the description to ask for price. Ooh. Tammy, you're a genius. Let's see, I'm going to grab this. Okay. What am I listening to? Synthwave mix with 80s Christmas commercials? Crazy, man. Tammy, what are you wanting for Christmas? What are you getting for Christmas? You are? Put that over there. Okay. I used to get really bad migraines, and it's the only thing that helped. Huh. I get migraines. I never thought about smoking weed for a migraine. I wonder if that has any effect on it, or if that could potentially make it worse. All right, so, Miss Sarah Doozaberry, you're going to hate me, but I please get... Damn it, Sarah! All right, let's get started. She wants a Japanese jumbo pack break. It looks like this. She's messing with me. I know it. Here's a shiny star. You're a shining star, no matter who you are. Here's a Terra Festival. All right, see here, Sarah. I don't think we do this golden pack yet, do we? No, we do not yet. So here's one of these. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We have not had a heavy viewership tonight, but we sure have had a constant viewership the entire night. Here's a Mega Symphonia. Here's our destined rivals. The rivals who are destined. Okay. Chin Pokemon. Obsidian Flame. Journey Together. Pokemon White. Pokemon Black. Okay. And here's Lucario. Here's Crown Pikachu. Here's Pokemon Go. This guy. We got one of these. Triplet Beat. Here's this. Okay, here's Inferno X. What's this? More Terra Festival? Well, if this is Terra Festival, this needs to go in this box. Okay. It's in the wrong box. Here's Twilight Masquerade. Well, we've already got an open box of that. Let's grab this. And, 151. This is called a Mega Jumbo Pack Super Duper Alley-Ooper. Okay, one of these. One of these. One of these. We already have Journey Together. One of these. CP6 Charizard is criminally underrated, I guess. And one of these. I don't want one. Does that make me a criminal? I beg your pardon, sir. Now, we also need one of these. And it's time for the it's time for this set to change. So, first of all, we are all out of a particular pack, this one. So you're going to get the last one of those. Okay, so that's one of the changes that just got made. I have no more of those. Did I grab a Heat Wave? Additionally, a new pack needs to be added. Mega Dream. So Mega Dream needs to be in here. So this should go down by 6.5 and up by 15. Let me check the price on it. The jumbo pack break for Japanese is 160. 160 minus 6.5 plus 15. So it's now 168. I'm going to hit save. Yes, we're all out of these. You get the last one. How fun is that? So let's take a look at what we got in here. Terror Festival, Black and White, Destined Rivals, Mega Simp, Mega Brave. There's Inferno, Pokemon Go. Good, I think we got all of it. Did I see Surging Sparks in there, though? I got to see if Surging Sparks is correct. Yep, Surging Sparks is there. Mega Brave is in there. Good, I think we got it all. Tell me if I missed something. If you guys noticed one was missing, let me know. Yours does not come with the Mega Dream this time. Mega Dream is in the next round. It'll change in price to $168. Okay. All right. What are you doing here? Have a seat right over there. All right. What did you mean when you told her you want to put your blank in her blank? Let me snip this. Let me snip this. Let me snip this. Okay. With the Flareon and Magmar Red and Gold artwork by Kuki Sato, what is the Squirtle Gym Break finished? Squirtle Gym Break. No, that one's not finished. That's a $15 gym break. It's a 2-person break. They're a lot of fun. What's fun about the gym break is how quickly they end. They end so fast. They don't require much. All right, good luck, Sarah. So Sarah's going to pick up a cold one. A Meganium. Nice. I like that artwork, man. Out of here, you're going to pick up Milotic. Terra Festival. What's going to pop out of Terra Festival? Okay, you got the amulets. Here we're going to find Ice Doggy, Ice Fruit. Okay, we've got Chandelure. Nothing so far, nothing too crazy. These packs are capable of being pretty cold because it's just one pack from every box. I always say that. I'm like a broken record. Okay, how about this? We've got Glamora or something. Ultra Cold. Here's the Lugia pack. Could have a Lugia in it. No. Triplet Beat could have Magikarp. No. I don't know what this could have. Nothing. Pokemon Go could have Charizard in it. Moltres this time. All right, I like Moltres. Well, Pokemon Go is looking good, man. I might have to open some of that and grade it. Ooh, you're getting a tough round so far, but it could all be turned around by one hit. Okay, come on. Come on. There's Eevee. No. One hit. You just need one hit. Latios. Twilight Masquerade. Inferno X. Instant Charizard. Nope, that's going to be Reshiram. This could be a hit. This is the last pack of this stuff. Okay. Articuno Phoebus. Giratina. You're going to pull Krokorok. Oof. Well, this is super rough right now, Miss Sarah. I'm sorry. You know I have no control over it. It's just random. Oh my gosh. All right, let me toss this. All right, you ready? So now we've got, come on, baby. Whiscash. 3 packs remain. Cold. Cold. And wow. Well, I don't know. I feel like Sarah got kind of wrecked on this round. Tell you what, Sarah, let's take a look into what you get for the rest of your order before I start officially feeling bad. Because maybe you get very cold Pokemon cards, but your One Piece cards are very hot. So we'll feel bad in a minute. Lots of holos. I like this a lot. Pokemon Go. I might have to look into grading some Pokemon Go. Do I grade the English version or the Japanese version is the question. Because I got some English version to open. All right, so that is an example of a kind of tough scenario on the jumbo pack break for the Japanese cards. Since you're pulling one pack out of like 15 different boxes, it's possible you just pull the cold pack out of all those boxes at once. It's actually statistically possible for that. Just like it is possible to pull multiple hits, although numerically, statistically, the odds of that are so hard. Okay, but the odds to pull 15 cold ones it's not that hard. That one's much more possible to do. Okay, here's the Barioth. Here's Purple Flower. Well, probably it's my worst pull for the jumbo, but still fun. And here is Zacian. Yeah, I suppose if you just kept going and did like, let's say you did 30 rounds, then you would expect to have very normal pulls in the 30 round range, because by then you would have gone through a whole box of all of this stuff. Of course, 30 times 160, what is that, like $480 or some crazy amount, isn't it? No, it's way more than that. I did my math wrong. It's like no, what is that? I'll just use my calculator. My brain's tired anyways. 30 times 168, $5,000. Yeah, I don't know about that. That would take a while. Of course, I wouldn't even open it that way, would I? I would just go get a box of each item. That's what I would actually do. All right, so 2 spots for the OP box break. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, Nacella. Five and 6, all yours. That's the OP13 box break, where you have a chance for the whole box. 5 Phantasmal and 1 box of EV3. Let's get that box of EV3. So maybe I'll have a lot more luck over here. Also, I think I'm running out of Phantasmal. Okay. Good. Tossing that away. All right, snipping time. I got a Gyarados coming to me from the PSA vault with an old label on it, and I was thinking of either correcting that label or, well, I can't decide. It's weird because if you correct labels now, it's kind of like lost capital that could have done something else that would have been, you know, financially good. Let's snip this. All right, we'll snip this. All right, nice. You ought to be able to pick cards out of your vault and send it to PSA for services. You know, wouldn't that be good? For the website view, would 20 products per page be better? Yeah, actually, that'd be way better. That'd be way better if you could put a lot of products on at once. I think it would be. I guess maybe not for mobile. Ooh, that's a good question, Timmy. Maybe we experiment with that a little bit at a time, okay? Yeah, for mobile, it might be hard to read. All right, here it goes. Here's your EB3 Dawn card right away. All right. Here's, let's see, a holo, and a holo, and a holo, and another holo. And here's a holo right here. Ooh. I have 20 up right now, so can check now. Ooh. Should I check everybody? What do you think? Let's just see. I'm going to hit refresh on it real fast. Refresh. Oh, I see. It just scrolls down further. No, that's good. I like that. Yeah, let's leave it like that for now. Yeah, weird. It was set to like 12, and then you would have to click on the next page. I would say even 25 could make sense, as high as 25 items. Whoa. All right, your hit is this bunny girl with extremely curvaceous knockers. All right. Here's a hollow. And here's a hollow. And here's a hollow. And also here's Nami. Look at that Nami card. Bloop. Ooh. Here's a hollow. And another hollow. And another hollow. And another hollow. Is there only one hit in a box? Sometimes there's 2 hits in a box. So your box can contain a leader parallel or whatever it's called, a leader card, I think. And that's like an etched card that I think is worth grading. Or you can have a manga in the pack as well. So even though she's pulled a hit, that doesn't mean there's no manga. So, or manga or whatever you want to call it. Mango. Miss Sarah. Normally you donate these, so I'm going to place them on the bulk pile. Okay. And so your pulls end up being Nami, Bunny Girl, full art, Vinsmoke somebody, and Little Red Hat Girl. All right. So there's that. You got those 2 packs over there. The Phantasmal Flames are next. Might be time to buy more Phantasmal, huh? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Phantasmal has been a steady seller this whole time. I think it might be a good idea to get a restock on Phantasmal. All right. Wow, we're at 5:40 a.m. now. Weird, you know, we had to make it to the late part of the stream to really get the sales in. So interesting. Sarah's order came in. Mr. Carter's $300 order came in. I mean, it's kind of a big deal. Here goes. Sales for today were pretty good for a total between the daytime and the nighttime. It's crazy how efficient the daytime stream is, though. You know, we squeeze in a crazy number of orders into a much shorter period of time in the daytime. Let's set this here like this. Okay. It's weird around here tonight. Watched a tweaker dig through a potted plant and spread the dirt in the road and then start dumping a trash can. A cop stopped and watched him for a bit and left. Man, the fact that that's so commonly understood, words like tweaker, you know? Ooh, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Ah, Mega Heracross. Now we're talking. He's cute. All right, Mega Heracross. And Eternatus Seal Flygon. There we have it. All right, Sarah, I think we can officially state that your round was kind of on the cold side. I'm going to toss Sarah a bonus pack just because it was so cold. All right, Sarah. So don't worry about me. I do okay financially. We're going to give you this Mega Dream pack for free. This is a Sarah gift. Okay. And next time a jumbo Japanese pack is ordered, it's going to come with this Mega Dream by default. And you do get a bonus. You get a little Fan Rotom. All right. That makes it a little bit sweeter. Not a whole lot sweeter. But it is a bonus AR. All right. Very nice. If it had been like not Heracross, if it had been like an SAR, that would have been wild. So, Miss Sarah, you're going to be moved into the Sarah box, which is over there, but it's very, very full. So what we did after that was we created Sarah bags, which are to my right. And those are very, very full. So we're making a fresh Sarah bag. Ta-da! All right. Okay, we'll pop this in here. Miss Sarah, hope you've been having a great night. We have a cute lightning break this time. For those of you who haven't jumped in any breaks in a little while, this is the Cubone lightning break. He's just a cute little Cubone. Master Ball Japanese, by the way. And I really like these Master Ball cards. I think they're pretty nice. I think they have a lot of potential to gain value over time. That one's going to be 1 in 4 for $30. Now, the star spot's a fractional star spot, though. Keep that in mind. All right. I think we're nearly done, everybody, but it appears another order popped in. It's Mr. CS-Man. He says he'll take 2 spots on the Oddish. Okay. This Oddish commemorates weed being downgraded to a Schedule 3 drug, and that's pretty cool. At the federal level, finally, after all these years. This. All right. By a conservative president. Absolutely crazy one. All right. Trump's a wild one, man. He wants Greenland. He wants Canada. He wants Venezuela. He wants the Panama Canal. There it is. All right. He wants it all. He wants the mineral deal in Ukraine. He's like, yeah, we'll help you, Ukraine, by taking your resources out of your other pocket. Okay, I think we're done, everybody. It's 5:42. We gave away the Mark giveaway, and it's been a nice night. I had a lot of fun. That was the Thursday night stream. Coming up next, we have the Friday daytime stream. I'm not really anticipating anything crazy coming in the mail, so I think we'll mostly be focusing on continuing to rotate all of these consignment cards. Some of them have sold, actually, and getting them pictured, and then we move on to, I think we work on to the pricey slabs at that point. But before we do that, I think I'd like to work on showing off maybe like booster packs and stuff like that. Sell you a spot. You're going to sell a spot? Give me a second here. Let me hit refresh. Who won Mark's giveaway? It was actually Miss Alexandra. She managed to pull it. Give a Nami mommy. Sell you a spot. $40 in for the OP13 box break. I bet you this box has a very good chance of going off tomorrow because it's now halfway full. It's more than halfway full. All right. Good luck in there, by the way, Edward, because if you miss, you're going to be losing like a lot of money. There it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots remain in that box break, okay? 2 spots remain in the oddish. Look at those boobs, dude. Oh, my God, dude. Boob cards, bro. I had a great time. Did you guys have a good time? We talked about a lot of curious subjects, especially things that are going on in the news. I'll see you for the Friday daytime stream tomorrow at the usual time. See you later, everybody.